Welcome to it, sports fans. It is the MKT Show. My name is actually MKT, and feels good. It's a good life. It's a good look. A lot of people are saying good look. A lot of people saying bad look. You know, people are saying things all the time, everywhere, wherever they are. Today's a good day. 6th July of this year, the year that we're in. And we got Paulo Diaz joining us in the second hour, by the way. That'll be fun. I'm sure he's got plenty to say. I'm not alone today. Plenty to talk about. Listen, Euros tonight. Of course, today's the big one. Spain play the Azzurri. That'll be fun. We got England tomorrow. That'll be fun. Is football coming home? Denmark. I mean, basically, it's turning into the Christian Eriksen show. Now, am I vomiting a little bit about that? Just get on with the football. No, some people say, hey, the man died, nearly died, survived. You know, it's the spirit of the Viking. Let it be. People are allowed to be happy and sentimental. Hey, that's football, baby. That's football. And I'm here for all of it. I'm joined today by a man who he hasn't shaved. What he's had is a trim of the beard. But ultimately, we're working towards getting him to look gentlemanly. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, James Jimbo Ellingsley. Jimbo, how are you doing, my good man? That's tough. He was muted there. That's tough.
It's because we switched around the mics yesterday, remember?
Okay.
That's really awkward.
So I mean, nobody's into your excuses. So that's a rough start to the show there for James.
I apologize. I'll do better.
On the production level. It's a rough start for you. I'm doing great. How are you doing, James?
Good.
Other than trying to derail the show for the second day in a row.
Good. There is football tonight. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Spain are going to walk away with a win. And this is going to be great times. Yeah, and then it's on to the finals, guys. Outside of that, I'm good.
You well, huh?
I'm good.
How's the smoking going? Or not smoking?
It has its moments.
Okay, go ahead.
It has its moments where I just desperately need to just breathe. But, you know, I'm strong. At times it feels like I'm weak.
You sound like a woman that just came out of a relationship, and now you're just moving into your own apartment, and you've just repainted the lounge. You know, it's like a symbol of you moving on from your old relationship. I'm strong. Hey, listen, smoking may be a little bit harder than coming out of a toxic relationship, I'd say.
A little bit, yeah.
Giving up smoking is tougher than that.
A little bit, yeah.
So tough, huh? You're going through it.
Going through the most. Well, we're getting there.
Apex Legends. So that's something that James does, and most nerds like James do that on the weekend and during the week. That wasn't working on the weekend. I would imagine that only added to your anxiety.
Why do you say that?
Because you enjoy it. It was taken away from you.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. They released an update on Tuesday this week for a new game event thing where you can unlock limited time things. And someone had hacked Apex. So there's another game that's made by by Respawn, who makes Apex. It's called Titanfall.
Okay.
And the players of Titanfall are upset with something to do with Titanfall. So they decided, hey, let's go hack Apex.
Really?
Yeah, I promise you. And then you
how do people know that? Do they admit it? Can't they get sued?
What do you mean? How do you know it's people from Titanfall?
Yeah.
Because when the game got hacked, there were like pop-up notifications, and it was like hashtag save Titanfall by joining this Discord server, and then you like couldn't choose game modes, and the screen was glitching, and it was just an annoying time.
Right. It's getting a little nerdy now. Yeah. Going down that. Okay, so Titanfall. Man, these guys have great names for this stuff.
They do, huh?
Jeepers creepers.
Really?
Titanfall.
Apex Legends.
I think Titanfall's better than Apex Legends, I'll be honest with you.
I think Apex Legends is just dope.
Okay, so you're smoking. Is it more likely because you don't have Apex Legends right now because of hacking by Titanfall? The Titanfall.
I didn't play yesterday. I had some stuff.
That's because it got hacked.
Well, I played the day before. Wait, hang on. I gotta work this out. The last time I played, I think it was all terrible times. So I haven't played Apex since things were okay. Nothing's okay.
Oh, no, don't smoke, James. Because how do you deal with anxiety now, James? Now that you don't smoke, pal.
Well, it was Apex Legends, but not anymore.
So what now?
Now it's just crying into my pillow, I guess.
You know what? I don't mind the crying into the pillow thing, but what are you going to do at 6:30 in the afternoon? You know? That's no time to be crying into your pillow because you almost need to be going to bed. You know what I mean?
Well, the difference is I go to bed at like 12 in the evening, so
that's what I mean, is if you cry into your pillow at 6:30...
I spend 6 hours crying into my pillow, and then I fall asleep at 12.
You keep a bottle of water with you? I'd imagine you're dehydrated by about an hour and a half into crying.
I feel too pathetic to get up while I'm crying, so
Okay.
I drink my tears as they run down my face.
Pretty salty. Okay, no, listen. That is what it is, James. You know, your sadness, probably your problem, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
Is that the world you want to live in?
What's the saying? Nice life problems are still problems, huh?
Yeah, sure. I mean, quitting smoking, though, isn't a nice life problem. You were addicted to something for 5 years.
Well, it kind of is, because I had the luxury of being able to spend money on cigarettes.
Have you gone full positive now?
So technically...
Are you so privileged and you're so aware of your privilege? Are you that guy?
I am.
Oh,
I am.
my God. It's painful.
It's been a tough 2 weeks.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm sure.
I've been drinking a lot more water.
Hmm?
My face is breaking out and just pimples. It's annoying.
It was breaking out, or now it's breaking out?
No, it's breaking out because it's obviously like flushing out all the terrible things. That's what happens when you drink a lot of water. Flushes out in different ways. So like your face will break out because of like flushing out. What's the word? Like clogged pores.
Yep.
And then there's also obviously other ways of it being flushed out.
Because of hydration.
Yeah.
Or because of water.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeez. Biology lesson as well.
Look,
I thought educating MKT was a whole different beast.
you guys thought I was just another pretty face. Boy, were you wrong.
What's happening with educating MKT? How come you didn't? I haven't heard anything about it.
You will be educated today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's start off with that. Let's start off on an educational note. Let's, we got some sports. So we got Paulo Diaz. We're going to talk England, Spain, Sancho. We got plenty coming up on the show.
So you just, if you would just give a sort of brief introduction as to what educating James is for people who aren't aware, just so that I can get my stuff together.
All right.
And then...
So educating MKT is something where James will essentially, because he's a big reader and fundy of sort of just constant growth, he's realized that I've got a lot to learn on this planet, and there's so many things, because I'm not cerebral like James, a word he loves, is that he's trying to grow my brain by teaching me stuff. So we got educating MKT, which is going to be James really for now teaching me about psychoanalysis and psychology and sort of the prominent figures within that field. Yeah, you want to start? You ready for us, James? Oh, let's go.
I think the question is, are you ready for me?
I don't think I'm ready.
I don't think you are.
Yeah.
I don't think you are at all. Psychoanalytic.
Okay.
Psychoanalytic theory.
Let's hear it.
Do you know what it is?
I don't. You're going to educate me.
No, but on a genuine note, do you know what it is?
There's a good chance I do. But I think it's better if you just educate me.
Right. Psychoanalytic theory. We're going to stick with our boy, Sigmund Freud, right?
Okay.
He taught us about psychoanalytic theory. I'm prefacing is what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a method of investigating and treating personality disorders that is commonly used in psychotherapy, right? So essentially, one of the bigger elements of this theory is that things that have happened to people in their childhood contribute to later life and adulthood. Not problems necessarily, but ways of being, if that makes sense.
Sure.
It's a way of understanding personality traits in a person, on like a baseline level, as well as being able to understand why someone has a negative personality trait or a positive one or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I was going to try and give you an example, but I couldn't think of any.
Okay.
Like a dog, right? This is probably a terrible example.
It's awesome. Why not?
You know when a dog...
Dogs are mammals as well, yeah.
You know when a dog's like skittish, right? Like when you try and go out to touch it, it like either barks at you or like doesn't want to touch you.
Mm-hmm.
And then most of the time you find out that that dog was abused as a puppy or whatever. So it doesn't really like male people or like female people.
Yeah.
Right. So that's actually a thing. Okay. Yeah. So that's psychoanalytic theory and identifying that personality trait within the dog. Terrible example, I told you.
Yeah. Well, what if the dog is just neurologically predisposed to being a skittish dog? Any thoughts there?
No.
In your example, whereas the dog is actually genetically sort of predisposed to being skittish, just like any mammal is capable of being skittish or brave.
I'll tell you what, I'll email Sigmund. I'll ask him.
Okay.
See what he says. I'll get back to you.
Okay. I thought you were educating me about the theory, but okay. All right.
Right. So the reason why I'm so excited about this one, right? Because we spoke about this on the same day where we were in the kitchen and I told you about Oedipus.
Okay. Let's hear it. This is going to be awesome.
Remember I brought up the id, the super ego and the ego.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow within my Oedipus speech. I remember now. Anyway, so it brings in the three main parts of personality, which is what it is. I could never be a teacher because I'd look up at the students and they'd be staring at me like blank-eyed and I'd just smile all the time. Anyway, so personality has three sort of main structures or parts. The id, the ego, and the superego, right? And this was the thing that we learned at after that I told you about, and you were like, what? Did you learn about that at after? And I was like, yeah, we do. Take it.
I'm not sure you learn about it as much as brush over it, but okay, let's hear it.
So, these three elements of the personality are largely driven by Persians.
Yeah, Freud was Austrian, so.
There you go. A person's unconscious mind. These three different parts of the personality interact to influence the decisions a person makes and how that person behaves. So, James, you're going too fast. Slow down. What exactly is the id, ego, and superego? Don't worry, kids. I'll tell you.
Yeah, please break it down for us.
Right, so a person's id, which is kind of like the baseline of your personality, right?
Sure.
Almost like a triangle, okay? So that's the one that forms sort of the foundation, okay? The id seeks instant gratification and pleasure, okay?
Okay.
Then above that is the ego, which is it seeks to follow the rules of society and morality. And then, no, sorry, that's the superego. That's my bad, sorry.
Yeah.
And then the ego is in a constant struggle to balance the id and the superego. So the superego is on one end of the spectrum. The id is on the other.
Mm.
And that obviously... Oh, I'm out of breath.
You're in terrible shape.
Goodness, I am in a horrible shape. Anyway, so According to Freud, a person's personality is formed by the process and results of struggles. So between the id, the ego, and the superego.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, the ego is the actual struggle between the two, and essentially your actual personality.
Sure.
Yeah. Most of this is just an interesting fact, right?
Okay.
Most of an individual's personality is formed by the age of 5.
Sure. I think we've spoken about that. Some of Freud's stuff has been dismissed, but yes, it is true. It is true.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the lecture?
Well, look, we can go into psychoanalytic theory in relationships, but that's where it gets incredibly long-winded and very complicated, and I'm not sure you're ready for that.
Let's make that part 2.
Yes.
So tomorrow we're looking forward to
psychoanalytic theory in relationships.
My God. Okay. Now, is the show getting a little Freud heavy? Perhaps. I mean, are there any other people in psychoanalysis that we could have gone to? Sure, but you laying down the foundation in order to bring, whoever else actually, or maybe there hasn't been other people in psychoanalysis from then till now.
Look, I can take you to the water.
Yeah.
But I can't make you drink.
No, it is important to create the appetite to learn rather than to force feed me.
Exactly. Because I could have gone into psychoanalytic theory within relationships and it could have become incredibly long-winded. You would have lost interest. But if we sort of, if we leave it there and you want more now you've got, like you say, that appetite.
You're creating that appetite for me to learn. And I wish more teachers would know that. So, James, some feedback. Your sort of pedagogy is interesting. Now, did it send me maybe a little bit to sleep? I don't know. Sounded like you were reading a bit, but you weren't. You just know it so well. It comes out that way.
No, this I initially, when I learned about it, after I did struggle with the concept overall. So I was reading now. I read about it on the weekend also, and I was like, how am I still struggling with this? And then I was like, hey, for the show, it's okay to read. It's okay.
Yeah.
And here we are on a Tuesday morning.
Okay. The super ego, Freud. Interesting guy.
It's my boy.
Interesting guy. You got any interesting facts about Freud? Or nothing?
Nope.
All right.
No. Do you have any interesting facts about Freud?
I do, but I think it's always better when you're educating me, and I look forward to learning a bit more about the Sigmund Freud guy. Maybe one of these shows can be about Sigmund Freud, and you can tell us about where he was born, how his life ended up.
Austria.
Okay. And anything, how old was he? He had his professorship at a pretty young age, which was pretty strange.
13.
No, not that young, but okay.
17.
Not that young, but anyway. So there's a lot of interesting things about him. Tough life. Him and his sister, very, very, very close for whatever reason. So, yeah, interesting guy. But obviously, you know this. I don't want to bore you. I don't want to bore people who know
Exactly.
By talking about Sigmund Freud when we got sports to get to.
Because then I would have to double feed information, and it's just it becomes tedious for me because I know it.
Not efficient. Sigmund Freud, very interesting, James. I learned a lot there. I learned a hell of a lot. I'm looking forward to. I'm starting to look forward to this more and more.
It's good stuff, huh?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what the next episode is. So that's tomorrow, huh?
That is tomorrow.
Man, education's fun. Who knew?
Education with James.
Education is fun. All right, Jimbo, football, it's Euros, hey?
It is Euros.
How are you feeling about it? I mean, do you ever get that thing where you're at the shops and you wanted to get 2 chocolates? You buy 1 chocolate. You get home and you got the last bite of the chocolate. And you're like, man, I should have bought 2 chocolates. I didn't think I was going to enjoy this chocolate. But I am enjoying it. But I wonder if I'd enjoy it more if there was more. Or maybe when I have this last piece, that's the goodness. There's a tipping point of too much chocolate. Maybe I think I'm getting the same thing with Euros. I'm not sure if I'm happy that it's going to end or whether I still need the football. Do you know what I mean?
I'm kind of okay with it. Honestly, I am. I think I'm kind of
You Euroed out.
not that. There was never any hype in my life to begin with. Like, obviously, it's football and it's a big international tournament, but I don't know. I think I'd be more hyped if it was like a World Cup or,
Arsene Wenger says he wants a World Cup every 2 years. What are your thoughts?
No.
That's the answer to Arsene Wenger, huh?
Because that would mean more international breaks on the weekends for qualifiers and friendlies and warm-ups and training camps and all of the lame things that come with international football.
It's so boring. International football is so boring outside of major tournaments.
And you know what makes it worse is like when the Premier League starts.
It's like 3 weeks and then there's a break.
Yeah. They'd go on the international break and then it's another, I think, 3 weeks or 4 weeks again. Then they have another break.
Like, who's international football for? Because the players probably don't like it. I mean, they have to say the right things. But they don't actually get paid that well, a lot of them, considering how much they get paid at club level. So it's their job, right? They want to earn money. And also, you're just putting players at risk for their club. Like, who's international football for other than UEFA and CAF and FIFA? Because I would imagine the players don't love it.
I think for some countries, and I've said this before, it's a big thing to play for your country. I think watching Denmark at this tournament, there's always that one team that's like super patriotic. And Denmark's been that team this year. And I just think, sometimes you see how much it means to some of these players. Maybe they're not heavily interested in playing friendlies and that kind of stuff. But when it comes to World Cups, it's like the biggest stage that you look at winning from the age of 5 or whatever. When it comes to Euros, also it's a huge stage to play for your country. So I think tournament-wise, I don't think many of the players are complaining. I think they actually want to be there. Friendlies, they're like, I'd rather stay in London where I'm watching football on the telly and have a bit of a break. You know what I mean?
I'm with you. But like now, Spinazzola's injured. That's 2 years of his career gone. Like, he's not getting a big move anymore. He had an Achilles. A big part of his game is pace. He's going to be 31 when he comes back. What now? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, Italy don't pay him. He's not going to get another big deal. He's old now. What now?
Where does he play at the moment? I mean, not that it matters,
Roma.
just out of interest.
Roma. He's not getting a big move. He's 30, what's he, 29 now. Achilles takes probably a year and a half to recover. You'll take 9 months to rehab, and then you still got to get back into it. And his physicality he's a beast. Like, I always think about the players from that perspective. And people say, okay, not all the players are injured, but like Karim Benzema's injured now. He's going to have to take off. His off-season is going to be interrupted. He's only going to be ready 10 games into next season for Real Madrid. You know what I mean? The Euros, it has been fun. It is awesome. And maybe football's coming home. Imagine that. How are you feeling about that, James?
People are not happy about it, huh?
I think people are split. You either support England or you can't stand the sight of them, you know?
Paolo, good friend Paolo is most certainly not happy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing his thoughts on that.
I don't know. I think it'll be good for England if they win it. If they don't, they've just proven that Gareth Southgate is just a yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full, so to the FA kind of guy.
Are people going to say sorry to Southgate, though, if he wins it? Do you think? Or are people just going to be like, whatever, get on with it. Nice waistcoat.
I think he'll actually kind of be a hero.
Knighthood. I think he might get a knighthood anyway. He's like super PC, you know?
Mm-hmm. Also, half the England squad are going to walk away from this tournament if they win it with Phil Foden's hairstyle.
He said the whole squad has to do it.
Imagine Jordan Henderson with that hairstyle, bro.
No, imagine Reece James with that hairstyle. That's going to be awesome.
Imagine Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, Rashford. Rashford with that hairstyle, with the blonde. He's going to have to like straighten it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But so for you, who would you rather see win it? England and probably Italy?
Is that who you're predicting to be in the final?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, my team's still in the tournament, so I'm...
All right, so we'll talk about that. You didn't answer the question, though. World Cup every 2 years, no good, huh?
No.
Why?
I would hate it because the players already are complaining about how tough the schedule is at the moment. I think like a couple of weeks or months just before COVID and before the whole world shut down, players started getting loud about the scheduling of the fixtures and stuff like that, and then that kind of died down. So yeah, I mean the players complain about that sort of stuff. I also, dude, I honestly couldn't care less about or World Cup qualifiers or whatever it is.
But where would he put it? Like the year, that would mean what? Every year there's a tournament, because it's Euros every 2 years already. Where do you put it in between the Euros?
Oh yeah, and then there's also Confed Cup, which essentially opens up the World Cup.
Yeah, where would you put it?
And then there's Olympics every 4 years. No, leave it. Leave it, Arson. Leave it.
Because you know what his thing was, and people are saying, what happens when a player gets a major injury and misses a World Cup? It could be, let's say you're playing 2010, you get a major injury, or you play 2010, you get a major injury before 2014. It's going to be 8 years before you play a World Cup. But I say, too bad, too sad, right?
Yeah.
Is life for you? You're not supposed to get the great things in life just handed to you. Like suffering and things going wrong is a part of life, isn't it? Like not all of us are Jeff Bezos. Am I Oprah? Like I don't have $4 billion.
Yeah.
Not everybody's meant to get everything, and I think it's part of life, and it's part of the journey of being human. Like you don't just get stuff. Like this idea that players deserve to play in a World Cup's dumb. It should be elite. It should be once every, like the Olympics, I mean, the Olympics, again, we got surfing and skateboarding now, so I think that's diluting the whole thing, but whatever. It's like, it should be special. It should only be the creme de la creme, and it should be special to play the World Cup. You do it every 2 years. I mean, come on.
No, I did.
It's a kick around the park with the lads, isn't it?
Yeah, essentially. And that's also part of the anticipation around the World Cup and the Euros and stuff, is that it's, as soon as like 2010 ended, when like everybody had football fever in South Africa. As soon as 2010 ended, everyone was like, oh, it's like another 4 years until Brazil or whatever it was. I think it was Brazil. But yeah, that's part of the hype around these major tournaments is the wait. Like I genuinely look forward to the Olympics. Like the Olympics are dead. It's so cool to just watch all these different sports.
Badminton's probably my favorite event. Although gymnastics, actually, floor gymnastics. I've said this before. It's the best camera work in the history of sport. I've never seen a camera guy miss in Olympics.
I have played badminton a couple of times.
All right, let us know.
Great game.
Well, any idea what the instrument which you hit is? What's that called, James?
A shuttlecock.
It is. It is called a shuttlecock. You any good? You may be the least athletic person I've ever met.
I mean, I played it like once or twice.
It's a tough sport.
Also, how do you determine if you're good at badminton?
Oh, can you hit it over the net?
Yes.
But
not every single
so you can't
time.
rally. Okay. Play tennis, James?
I did. Terrible at it. I played in grade 5 and 6, I think.
Is that because too many strings attached and you don't like that? Play the guitar, James?
I did.
Strut on the G string? Anyway, Olympics.
I'm in a lot of pain. I don't want to do this anymore.
Hey, a lot of Olympians pulling out, or like a lot of big names pulling out.
I saw.
I'm over it. Like whatever, the Olympics isn't about you. There's lots of people who want to be in the Olympics. Can't wait. I think that's one event. If Leo Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo pulled out of a World Cup tournament, that's a big issue, right?
I don't think it's a huge issue. It won't be the same because it's kind of a highlight of every tournament.
The Olympics will be just fine. Like, it doesn't matter who's at the Olympics, because you'll end up supporting the Algerian hockey team because they end up beating Germany.
Yeah.
And the One Oak's mom died. You know what I mean? Like, you'll end up finding a storyline in the Olympics. The Olympics is one juggernaut where Roger Federer, no one cares. Like Wimbledon, oh my God, no Roger. You know, Olympics, who? Roger, who? He's not. Yeah, get him out the way. What are you talking about? I want to watch the Azerbaijani swimming team, like synchronized swimming team where they had to raise funds and pay for themselves. You know, there's always synchronized swimming.
Dude,
like,
that's cool stuff. That's cool.
The
to
Olympics is full of so much awesome.
I love it.
Hey, synchronized swimming is amazing. Badminton. How great are the mostly Chinese table tennis players?
Dude, how quick are they?
Robots. Human robots.
How quick are they, dude?
Androids are here already. They are called the Chinese tennis table tennis team.
Yes.
Unbelievable, the stuff that they do.
Did you see there's a petition going around for, what's her name? Laura Hubbard? Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Who is that, James?
She is the, I think it's the first transgender woman that will be competing in the weightlifting, what's the word? The weightlifting
competition.
Competition at the Olympics. 12,000 people have signed a petition for her to be banned.
How many does it need for her to get banned?
I think it's just one of those like signme.com petitions. I don't think it means much.
Yeah, that's hey, listen, this is a part of society, right? We constantly try stuff out. It's like this is a new part of human existence we hadn't thought about 50 years ago. It's here now. Transgender is here as a concept, as whatever you may feel it is in your life, and we have to deal with it. And ultimately, I have to be clear. I sit on the side of the fence where I don't think it's fair at all. But I don't believe in fairness in life, so I don't want to be a hypocrite. I think it's wrong from a scientific standpoint, and as somebody who has gone through a scientific degree, I think if we're using scientific rationale, it's wrong. But life isn't science, right? Life is not a science. Here we are, James, me and you, black guy, white guy, sitting in the same room 30 years ago, unthinkable. You know what I mean? Is that this is illegal, actually, in this country and in many parts. I mean, in Alabama, I don't know if you know this, James, I believe it was in 2001 in Alabama, in America, that mixed marriage was legalized.
In 2001.
Alabama, yeah. I mean, Alabama, I've been there. I support. I do like American football. The college football team are all tied. Yeah, I mean that's a backwards place, super backwards. But yeah, so human rights. What you gonna do, But I need to be clear. My position is Hubbard should not be in the mix. It's sort of empirical evidence tells us why. But hey. We're part of the human race, We're gonna have to move things forward.
I don't think I've really mustered up an opinion on it.
And you don't have to have one. I mean,
exactly. There's just to me, there's so many sides to the coin.
And it's only two. I mean, coins.
Yeah, coins do have no. That's wrong. 3 coins have 3.
Well, what's the other side?
Well, if it's a 5 rand coin and you flip it, there's a chance it could land on the side.
Oh my God.
Okay. No, I mean, because a lot of it plays on my personality and me as a person.
Why are you coming out as a transgender?
No, what I'm saying is,
but there's nothing wrong with that, by the way, if you are.
But so people that watch the show and you have probably already picked up. I'm the person that's all in for, everyone can join, or I'm that person that's down for inclusivity, and I wouldn't really say I have been an advocate for LGBTQ
mm-hmm. plus,
sorry, but I'm not against it at all. So I'm not really they need their rights, but I'm definitely not they need to be
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, but then there's also the side where
No, but hold on. Also, that's okay. Like, also, what social justice warriors do is you're either all in or you're definitely anti.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
There's also apathy because you know what? I've got to pay my bills. You know, like I don't hear. Are you going to accuse the lady who cleans my house, or whatever, of being homophobic if she doesn't have an opinion?
Yeah.
No, you know why
Yeah.
she doesn't have an opinion? Because she's not a douchebag in Rosebank. And by the way, I know I use this example all the time. For our international listeners, Rosebank is essentially where most of the disgusting, corrupt NGOs actually live. And I will never apologize. NGOs are disgusting, sort of. They have no moral compass, any of them. And I'm sorry, there's probably like 1% of them that do, but I lump all of them in because NGOs are disgusting. They're a disgusting affliction on the human race. But most of them, most of the social justice warrior ones sit in Rosebank. So it's a very hoity-toity area. And generally what it is a bunch of rich kids that don't want to get into the working world. They go and sit in offices there and have meetings and sort of getaways to plan meetings about meetings, and they talk about human rights as though it's a sport, Whereas my lady who cleans, she's actually she doesn't have time for that because what she's got to do is actually feed her kids,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really, really interesting thing. But anyway, those social justice warriors will always say you have to have a position. Like, no, I don't actually. Like, no, get out of my face.
Yeah,
like it doesn't come to my mind every single day to worry about Laurel Hubbard's rights. You know why? Because I got stuff to do. Like I've got family too. I've got an aunt who's sick. Like, people are allowed to have their lives and be apathetic. And nobody should tell you different either. The people who tell you have to choose a side, you need to go straight to hell. It's not how human rights have ever worked. And it's an incremental advancement. It doesn't change at the drop of a hat, I'm afraid, no matter what it is, by the way.
No, I definitely think you have a point. Whether you are like gay, straight, bi, trans, you identify as an apple, you don't.
I mean, I don't identify as an apple.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, I'm 100% okay. You love who you love and you identify as a microphone or whatever it is. That's fine with me. But, like, there's just... When it comes to sport, there's so much that needs to be taken into account. Like, there's athletes that have spent their entire childhoods training for one opportunity to go to the Olympics. And that's a lot of dedication to put in, and a lot of time to put in. And if you compete in, just as an example, if you compete in a weight class and a woman that's transgender, so she used to be a man, comes in and takes home the gold medal, you're obviously going to feel cheated about the entire situation.
Yeah.
So, and then that's where, like, sort of rules come into play, or what's morally right. So there's so many sides to this Laurel Hubbard thing. I don't know if I have one. I'm just like...
Yeah. My issue is that most of the people who argue for Laurel Hubbard have never read a scientific document and don't have the IQ to get into a scientific degree, and they argue like they know.
Yeah.
You don't. And I'm always happy to say, like, so for me, I don't speak to people about science anymore if you don't have an undergrad, because that's what I've got. Sorry, I've done the work, and it's a nightmare talking to people who don't understand science because they read a blog on Joe Rogan. So it's very, very annoying. Most people don't understand science, and I'm not afraid or too sanctimonious to say that, right? But for me, the great Richard Dawkins puts it really well. He says we should be open-minded, but not so open-minded that our brains fall out. Like, we need structure. There are 7 billion people. We need rules. Like, there isn't infinite possibility. Sorry, there just isn't. I know we live in a world where people want to wake up and express themselves and oh my God, I'm special. You are not special. There are very rigid rules in order to keep you from mankind's worst excesses, right? And we need those. Otherwise, you leave people to their own thing, and you get Seattle, right? I forget what that place was called, but they kind of sectioned it off. And we saw what happened very, very quickly when people have no rules, and it became a militia sort of area. And
Yeah.
we need rules. You need rules in life. And, in science, actually, there's pretty clear rules. Like we're doing some really, really amazing things in science at the moment that lean to why Hubbard shouldn't be able to participate. But there also just isn't that argument, because you can't reduce life to science, and I've said this already. So it's an interesting, I think it'll be a great moment to look back on in 10 years' time, because the science is constantly getting better and better at the moment. I mean, the evidence scientifically is clear as to why Hubbard shouldn't be able to participate. But we'll look back at it through a human lens as well. Philosophers and thinkers will look back at this in 10 years' time. And it's the tragedy of life, is that you can only look back at it once you've seen the results. And the results aren't always instant in life, right? Your actions now is, let's say, James, let's use you as an example. You're starting out a career. You don't know if you made the right decision till 10 years' time, because this could be a waste of your time. And in 4 years' time, 10 years' time, only then will you know, damn it, that was 4 years wasted, or that was 4 years I should have been brave enough to do my personal project, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Is we can only truly objectively observe in 10 years' time. So it's an interesting moment, and though I disagree with her participating, I think it's good for society to constantly be challenged. I think we get lazy, and because I don't believe in inclusivity. I'm not one for everyone should get a chance. Like, there are rules. Do you want to play by these rules? You're in. If you don't want to play by the rules, stay out. I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, man or woman, I don't care. Are you smart enough to get into Oxford? Okay, Oxford, get this person in. Like, don't put up a financial barrier. I think that's where we have the problem, is if somebody's smart enough to get into Oxford, Harvard, whatever, let's find a way to get that person in. Like, you shouldn't get in because you're rich.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not how you keep elite. And I think Oxford and these institutions are getting better and better at this, but that's because of social pressure, right? Is you've got to, human rights is something you got to fight for every day.
Absolutely.
So this may be correct or not correct, and in 10 years' time, we'll see. But I'm not for inclusivity, to be very clear. James and I sit on the opposite spectrum in life. I like rigid rules, and if you want to be in the creme de la creme, play by the rules or go somewhere else, is what I've always believed, and I will always believe that. That's why I hate the inclusion of skateboarding and surfing. I think the Olympics had too many sports already. They should have been shaving down. To be honest, I don't even love that there's football in the Olympics. I like the individual sport. I like the Olympics. I've read an incredible amount, or I think a lot, about the Olympic history, and I love the individual in the field, in the arena, rather than teams. It was always meant to be the sort of arena for the warrior of the bourgeois. But anyway, that's those are just my thoughts. So, that is what that is.
I was thinking while you were speaking. So, firstly, when it comes to inclusivity, I don't believe everyone should have a chance. I just feel like when I say I believe in inclusivity, I know that to make it as Liverpool Football Club's number 9, you have to be at a certain level. To make it as even a bronze medalist for your country at the Olympics, you have to be at a certain level to even be at the Olympics. So, like, in that sense, I'm not really I really don't believe in inclusivity. If that I know it's kind of confusing. You have to be elite to compete at world stages.
Yeah.
So there is a sense of not including everyone that I believe in. And then also, I don't know if I said this to you, or who I said it to, but for the past couple of weeks, I've had this thought where, like, we live in such a sensitive and accepting yet critical society. It's like, it's okay, she wants to identify as an apple. That's fine. Let it do it.
Mm.
But then it's also like, don't you dare, like, speak down on whatever it is, like whatever someone's speaking down. So like it's like two ends of the spectrum of this weird kind of almost hypocritical society and like era that we're living in. Like, it's okay to be different, but don't you dare. And then like social justice warriors. So it's like they're all living in like tandem in this one society. And I mean, like, it's part of everyday life. It's not just this group of people. It's everyone.
It's because I tell you what decision by committee does is it lets the idiots make decisions as well. And most social justice warriors, not all, because I do know good people who work in that space. Very few. There are very few good, intelligent people who work in the SJW space. Very, very few. Trust me, I know large, not most of them, but I know it's mostly snotty-nosed idiots who work there. But there are good people. But decision by committee leads to idiots making decisions for you, and that affect because something like human rights is so serious. Is I'd like people that have maybe got a PhD in something. They've understand, because thinking is a skill. A lot of people think, oh, I got a brain, I can think. No. It's actually, you can craft how you think. I mean, I generally was trained to think from a scientific method. There are philosophers will tell you about different methods of thinking and sort of logic and reasoning that exist within philosophy. They do PhDs in this. Communication you can do a PhD in that. I want these people who have, explored the fields of humanity, making those kinds of decisions. Not a 24-year-old who feels like working at a bank is oppressive for them.
Yeah.
No. You don't get to have a cool beard and all of a sudden, because you identify with colorful hair, you know what human rights are about. Get the hell out of here. Because it's a serious business. I take human rights very, very seriously. And yeah, man, I think it's an interesting time. I'm looking forward to seeing how this one unravels. But even more so, I'm looking forward to the Olympics.
Absolutely.
I think like no issue. So the Hubbard thing, again, if that happened at the Olympics, I mean at the Football World Cup, it'd be a big issue, right?
Huge.
Like look at Christian Eriksen's basically taking over the Euros, right? With his cardiac arrest. If that happened at the Olympics, we would have already forgotten about it.
Even outside of the Euros, I don't know if you saw this week, it's all over social media. Christian Eriksen pictured for the first time since his collapse. Like really, guys?
Yeah, okay. No, but listen, it's gone into madness. But anyway, it is what it is. What I'm saying is, if that happened at the Olympics, we would have already forgotten the name Christian Eriksen, because there's just so much happening. Australia are swimming. The relay's on. When else South Africa on? Oh, my word. Did you see the Sri Lankans made the swimming relay final? There's so many incredible... And I think it's why I love the Premier League.
Yeah.
Because I've really thought about it. It's kind of like the Olympics. Is very few times are we all sort of globally conscious about one thing, is the Olympics really bring us together, not literally in the same room, but we're all thinking and admiring the human part of things, because you'll get Australians supporting, I don't know, Indonesian synchronizing tweens. And even if they're not supporting them, you see such incredible empathy for people that look different from you. There'll be different orientations, you know what I mean? And we don't really get that in life. Very rarely is a South African going to empathize with a Malaysian.
Yeah.
Like, where would I get that chance? Where would I see, Malaysian people look like that? That's awesome. Oh, they also train. Okay, well, let me hear the guy's story. Let me Google it. Oh, in Malaysia, they also have to work for 8 years. The world's a massive place. So I think, I like people. I like my life. So I'd like to see how other people live. I'm a hugely curious, I like to think I'm curious. So for me, I like to be connected to the globe, I really do. And this is the one opportunity I have, Not everybody can afford to fly to Sweden, and all these fantastic places. But the Olympics and I believe the Premier League's unique in that it brings all of these people from different cultures into one melting pot. But the Olympics is awesome. There's so much that can happen. It happens.
It's incredible.
There's an Olympic village, and I've heard some awesome stories, man, about that. About the Olympic Village. That's a whole other story. But just everything about it's amazing. Where else do that many people from around the world meet?
Tomorrowland.
Yeah, I've been to Tomorrowland twice. Different type of meeting. And there's a Tomorrowland all over the world now, but I've been to the one in Belgium, and it is electrifying.
Well, there's not Not at the moment.
No, because COVID.
COVID
It
changed everything, yeah.
It did change
Yeah,
everything.
Look at
but
that, huh?
there is a global Tomorrowland, and yeah, good times.
Hashtag Justin Timberlake.
Well, what Justin Timberlake? What's the story there?
Because we said the same thing at the same time. We are...
Like a lake?
Nope. We are...
Justin?
Nope.
News Justin?
Nope.
What?
In sync.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, it was 4 people. He was just a member in that, but okay. Nah.
Whatever happened to the people from NSYNC?
In sync. What do you think they're up to? They must be so loaded.
What are even their names?
Whoever the other guys are, that's who you want to be. The Justin Timberlake thing's too much pressure, dude. I've always said the dream job, third choice goalkeeper, right? Stay-at-home husband, and then being the 4th guy, Joey or whatever, is the 4th guy in sync.
So I actually recognize 2 of these names.
Lance.
Lance Bass.
Yes, Lance.
I recognize.
Yeah.
Chris Kirkpatrick is also the other.
No, I didn't know that one.
Then obviously Justin Timberlake. And then the last 2, never heard of. JC
Shiraz.
Shaz.
Yeah, yes, he came out with the song, I remember. JC Shazay.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a song, I remember, yeah.
And then Joey Fatone.
Joey. I remember him. Yeah, that's who I'd want to be. I'd want to be Joey Fatone.
I'd want to be Justin Timberlake, bro.
Nah.
Super Bowl.
Dude, pressure. You can't go out. Dude,
Jessica Biel.
Justin Timberlake can't even go out and get a loaf of bread. Like, that's not a life. That's not a life. Although he shouldn't be eating bread, I mean, because of health. But I'd like to be Joey.
I'd be Justin.
Justin Timberlake. You think you could handle the pressure of being Justin
We
Timberlake?
sound like girls at a sleepover. I want to be Justin. No, I want to be Justin.
Yeah, that's true. All right, human beings connected, huh? But yeah, the Olympics. I'm fired up, dude. I'm so fired up. Football tonight. I'm really, really looking forward to
It's my boys, dude.
Spain, Italy. We'll get Paolo's thoughts on that. Jimbo, should we do a bit of social media before we, head into hour 2? All right, let's see what we got. By the way, if you're with us on YouTube, click like. If not, you can click dislike or I don't know.
Just
live your life.
Just keep watching.
Yeah, just close the window if you don't like it. If you like the podcast, cliffcentral.com, the Cliff Central app, or wherever you get your podcast. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, and please subscribe. You know where the button is. Like if you're on YouTube, you know how to read.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right. So, Barcelona's in the news. Let's pretend that was English. Barcelona's in the news, not
Yes.
the Muse, because that's a different thing.
Yeah, that's is that Jared Leto? No, who's
No.
the lead singer of the Muse? Jared Leto's 30 Seconds to Mars. Different guy.
I was thinking of a farm.
Oh, you don't know the band? The Muse.
A muse and a farm.
Oh, okay. Or is the Muse can the Muse be something else?
Yes.
Like what?
Baby chicken.
Okay.
I don't know where we're going.
No, a muse can also be like an artist. So if you're an artist back in the day, they'd often have a woman that would inspire their art, and they'd say, "I'm a muse. That is my muse. She is my muse."
That, like you're my muse.
I'm not your muse.
No, you're not my muse. But anyway, so Barcelona are in the news.
Okay.
This morning, big news.
Are they paying taxes in Barcelona? Because if there's one thing Spanish people do not do is pay tax.
Well, Barcelona cannot register any new signings.
Tell me more.
Memphis Depay, Sergio Aguero, Eric Garcia, and now Lionel Messi, because he's out of contract, right?
What happened to the sound there?
Oh no, I hit the table.
Okay, I can't hear.
You can't hear? Is it this one?
Yeah,
Can you hear?
I can.
Can you
But
hear?
we're back.
Are we back?
Yeah, I can't really hear, but okay, go ahead.
How about now?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay. So I'm just gonna be holding this thing. No, man. Can you hear? I'm having technical difficulties.
I think I'm back in the game. All right, Barcelona can't register players.
Can you hear?
Yes.
Right. Barcelona cannot register players. Sergio Aguero, Memphis Depay, Eric Garcia, and now Lionel Messi.
What a mess.
Okay, I hate everything. Do you want to know why?
Yes.
Why, James? I'll tell
Why?
you.
James, I can't wait.
They've exceeded the La Liga salary limit.
Unbelievable.
Despite selling Conrad de la Fuente, Jean-Claire Todibo, and Junior Firpo, Barcelona need to reduce their wage bill by 200,000 euros.
They're looking to get rid of Samuel Umtiti as well, and they are looking to get rid of somebody else, and they are being sued by one of their players as well. There's a lot happening there. But this is what happens, right? If you run your business like a joke, do you know what happens? You become a circus. You do. And sadly, it's a reflection upon Spain as a country, because it's actually a super dysfunctional country. Yeah, just everything about it is, man, falling apart. That's hilarious. So they've got about, what, 950 million euros of debt?
Yep.
How? You must remember they still got Coutinho, who they're trying to shift off the wage
For
bill.
21 mil. They want to shift him off.
That's his wages a year.
Yeah.
Samuel Umtiti, 20 million. They can't get rid of these players, but this is what happens. Listen, folks, in any business you're in, you've got to constantly be shaving the fat off. I know people think their bosses hate them because they won't pay them more. Got to keep costs down, dude. I don't care what business you're in. Look after yourselves and live within your means, and you're not Real Madrid. Like, I've been to Barcelona. It's not that nice. Like, pay some taxes maybe. Like the state of Catalonia, you wanna be prominent in the world. Get your economics right. Get your rules right. Get your governance right. You can't even get that right. Talk to me about independence. You're not Madrid. Now, listen, Spanish history, brutal. What the Crown have done to that region. But what a joke. What a joke. And hilarious.
Hashtag Messi.
Yeah, it's getting messy. So imagine Leicester sign Messi. Right? Because, when you get somebody for free, you can pay them whatever.
Well, that's the funny thing. All of Barca's transfers so far, this transfer window, Memphis, Eric Garcia, and Sergio Aguero, they've all been free transfers.
Like, who could get Leo Messi? And it's ridiculous. Sundowns
could get Messi, bro.
No, Patrice Motsepe is worth, I think, reported $4 billion US dollars. He could definitely pay Leo Messi's wages.
Get it done, dude.
That'd be awesome.
Imagine the eyes on the PSL.
Now, although, like, that's not ridiculous enough. Who's just come up? Brentford. Yeah, Brentford. Imagine Brentford. Stoke.
Norwich.
Yeah, Norwich. He'd look awesome in that kit.
Sunderland, dude.
No, they're not in the Premier League.
Yeah, but point being, they're free.
League One.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's demanding. He was earning 500,000 a week. Now he's probably going to be earning 800 a week. Yeah. Like, where would it be awesome for Leo Messi to end up? Like Everton.
Imagine him in that Lumo yellow and green kit of Norwich.
Everton. That's where he needs to be.
Everton?
Yeah. Because they can afford it.
So he can torment his Merseyside neighbours.
That will be awesome. Imagine Leo Messi in an Everton kit. And that's possible. It's like Barcelona have screwed it up to such a point that Leo Messi could be starting next year for Newcastle. That'll be you ever seen the movie Goal? So it's the worst movie you ever made?
No.
Oh, you like it? I can't stand it. Ugh. Everything about it. The scripting, everything.
A little bit cringy, but
super cringy. And how bad's the acting? Is that guy an actor?
Terrible.
Who is that guy who they get to play that role?
Santiago Muniz.
And he doesn't even look like a footballer.
No, dude.
Even
Not
when
a
he does
shot.
the tricks, I'm like...
Not a shot, dude.
Made for Americans, huh?
I laugh when Americans make football movies.
That was so bad. It was so bad.
It wasn't the move, dude.
One of the worst movies ever. Santiago Muniz, eh? Anyway, all right, what else we got, Paul?
Anyway, we digress, huh?
Yeah.
Leo
Messi, that's so crazy. How do you allow Leo Messi to get so unhappy to a point where he could, if he wanted to, leave your club? The greatest player of all time should always be 3 years ahead of his contract.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But again, it's, football is a reflection of that society. I urge everybody, if you want to take 45 minutes away from your partner who you don't like, or your boss, where you know how people pretend they're working, just go and look at every country. Write it down now. Every single country you look at, their football team will be a reflection of their country. Go and look at it. I've done this exercise before because I'm a nerd and I'm a bachelor and I have a sad life. But these are the kinds of things that occupy me. Every team will be a reflection of their country. And Barcelona right now is a reflection of essentially a country, which is the region of Catalonia and a mess.
Good old...
Nice. Listen, nice churches though. Oh, some of the churches there, unbelievable. They do like Jesus in Spain. Boy, oh boy. Very nice churches though. And I'll tell you what they'll do. Rescue a football club. Get that the hell out of here. Renovate a church though for €1 billion. No problem.
Alrighty. Just a couple of paper talk headlines.
All right, let's hear it. Let's gossip. A little goss.
Gonna jump in.
Little goss.
You know.
Yes.
A little bit of gossip.
What you got for me?
Jump out. Just test the waters.
Yeah. Move it all about.
You know.
Yeah.
Right. So Tottenham Hotspur are in talks about signing Yannick Vestergaard from Southampton. Centre back on a 4-year contract. PSG have made... How is he? PSG have made contact with Paul Pogba's representatives.
No, good move. I think that's where he should go. All swag. He's completely... I need to be very clear. Him and Neymar are perfect for one another. Big swag, social media, completely overrated footballers.
Lame.
Completely. Both. Listen, now the book's in on Pogba, right? Pogba had one good game, and I think he made one good pass the whole tournament, and people are telling me he's world class. Okay, I've also seen 5 years. I've seen 6 years of football now at Man United. There is nothing world class about him as a footballer. Stop telling me about his potential. I don't want to know what he does every 8 games. The book's in now. No Matuidi, and I said this before the tournament. Sorry, can't win. Because France, bring that one home, right? If Pogba's that good, we bring that home. And I'm afraid he hasn't taken any game by the scruff of the neck. And listen, bending it into the top corner every now and then makes you Matt Letizia. It doesn't make you Roy Keane. Sorry, don't tell me about the goal that he scored. Folks, I've seen Matt Letizia. Matt Letizia did that, right, for 10 years at Southampton. So Paul Pogba is a modern day... The book's in now. When the pressure's on him, they don't win. When you got Matuidi, you got Sissoko, you got Conte, you got those guys, France win. So, perfect. Him and Neymar are going to have the time of their lives, and they can decorate it with a French league and a French cup every season. You're not winning, though, with Pogba and Neymar. Forget it. But perfect for him. Oh, imagine what his Instagram numbers are going to do when he goes there.
Oh, gosh. Please.
No, listen. Also, there's a good fit in life, right? They will treat him like a god there. And what does Pogba strike you as? He wants to be loved. And they will treat him like a god in France. I think it's a good match for him, dude. I don't think Man United... He may be a world-class player. He just may need the right environment. He needs to be loved. Man United doesn't love anybody. Man United moved on from David Beckham, Roy Keane, Rio Ferdinand. Who's talked about Rio Ferdinand in 10 years? Or 5 years? Nobody. You know why? It's Manchester United. Bastian Schweinsteiger, one of the greatest players of our modern generation. So people have even forgotten that he played at Man United. Man United is one of the few organizations in sport. It's like the New England Patriots. Nobody cares, pal. Jaap Stam. Nobody cares, pal. Beckham, Keane. They've moved on from all of them. Tevez, Rooney. They moved on from Cristiano Ronaldo. And they've moved on. Right? They moved on, won a title. It's Man United. You know what I mean? Paul Pogba needs the opposite. He needs a statue. He needs to be loved. And we all are who we are as people. And I think PSG will be a great fit for him. And I think we'll see the best Paul Pogba we've seen in his career. I do. I think it's a good move for everybody.
Sorry to trigger you like that.
Yeah, I was ready for that.
Goodness. Manchester United have reportedly bid for Rafael Varane and Eduardo Camavinga.
Yeah, good moves. Good moves. And listen, that Varane one's an interesting one because Man United also have 77 centre-backs that they need to get rid of.
True.
Right? Phil Jones, Lindelof, and Eric Bailly. Listen, you can't keep Lindelof as a backup. He'll want to play. There's a World Cup coming up, and we've seen how good Sweden actually are. They've got options. So he's not going to sit on the bench at Manchester United. You're going to have to get rid of Phil Jones, and you can't get rid of Phil Jones because he's one of the few homegrown players in the squad. You're going to have to keep him. You're probably going to have to get rid of Lindelof or Bailly because you need four centre-backs. You can't go in. Yeah, so Varane and Harry Maguire. Interesting partnership. Let's see. I've never been as big on Varane as everybody else. I think he's actually probably never hit his peak that everybody thought he would at Real Madrid. But that's tough when you got the greatest centre-back of his generation next to you. So, good move. United, good move. Ollie's doing serious business. That Kamavinga is serious business, by the way. 18, 19, looking cultured already and a physical freak.
Bayern Munich chief Oliver Kahn is optimistic about keeping Kingsley Coman despite interest from Liverpool. Sticking with Liverpool, they are edging closer to their second signing of the summer. As I don't know how to say this, Paulo might Otavio could leave Porto following his agent's comments. PSG have reportedly won.
Paulo hates Porto, so he's probably happy about that.
Well, look, he also supports Man United, so that's his life. PSG have also won the race for Sergio Ramos, reportedly. He has a medical today, and it will be a free transfer.
Imagine the swag in the dressing room. Ramos. So Ramos and Ronaldo used to fight for the mirror at Real Madrid.
I don't want it. I don't want it.
Pogba,
Nope.
Ramos,
Nope.
Neymar.
I don't want it.
Wee.
I don't want it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Hey, listen, Sergio Ramos, Pilar Rubio are going to set Paris on fire.
And that is it.
No, it's good stuff. That's good stuff. That's good. That's good sort of scummy journalism by you, James. You've gone for the just rumors. Let's go with them. Let's bait people.
Yeah.
And it'll get me going.
Yeah. It shows off my mad journo skills.
Yeah.
know?
You're capable of big time journalism like human rights we spoke about earlier. But also, you're not too proud to go sort of shopping in the gutter.
Look, what can I say? Man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Doesn't really
son.
apply there, but I hear you. It's a good saying and everybody kind of gets it, you know? So, all right, Jimbo, give us some outro music. We'll be back in a little bit. Portuguese guy. You may know him, Paulo Diaz, on the other side, the MKT Show. See you in a bit. The MKT Show. We've returned. I've returned. It's the return of the Mac. All of those things
I hate everything that's just happened.
have returned.
I hate it all. Hate every part of what's just happened.
Good song. Good guy. And people are calling me a hero.
Well,
I survived COVID. Now, a lot of people comparing me to Nelson Mandela, to Martin Luther King, to Oprah Winfrey. You know, a hero who overcame adversity and on the other side came out a better man. Now, a lot of people saying that's a controversial statement. And I go, you know, I'm not a hero. I'm just a great man who gets out of bed one foot at a time, just like you.
hate everything you've just done.
I do.
So I'm MKT. This is the MKT Show. We are now joined by a man who, possibly the most Portuguese person of all time, a man who will certainly give you his opinion on, Romelu Lukaku, a man who will give you his opinion on Portugal, on Cristiano Ronaldo, a man who has got some opinions and he will share them. For this, though, he's doing us a favor. He'll do it in English. Ladies and gentlemen, the president of being Portuguese in Portugueseville of Portugueseness, Paulo Diaz. Ladies and gentlemen, Paulo, what's happening, pal?
Do weird things only happen when I'm on, or it's like a consistent thing?
I would say you're a common denominator, yeah.
All right. Good.
Yeah. I'd say it's centered around you.
Welcome myself back to the show. It's great hearing myself. Great hearing you guys as well.
All right, Paulo, where are you? You do sound a little bit like you somewhere. You sound like you're in a mill and we're storing corn on top of you.
Give me a sec.
All right, I'll do that. We'll see if we can get Paulo back with...
And now am I better?
Much better.
There we go.
Yeah, you sounded...
There we go.
There we go. You sounded, like I say, I don't know if you know the example where you're opening up what's it called, a silo, where they're just dumping corn in there. It sounded like we were just dumping more and more corn on you, and essentially you were going to die soon because you'd be covered by corn.
I don't relate because my parents have more traditional ways of disciplining me, unlike evidently yours covering you in, farmed and mazed goods.
I think you've got to tell stories from your own childhood in order for them to be authentic. So, yeah.
And get the help that you need.
Sure, that's the next step. Paulo, well, what's been occupying your life, pal?
So, so many things. I can't even believe that that Belgium got knocked out on Friday, because it feels like years ago. It was Friday, right? Because it feels like super long ago. I mean, like 4 days is a long time in football.
It's a lifetime.
It is. Like, we've moved on. Like, clubs are different. PSG aren't spending money anymore. Everyone's buying free transfers. It's like when you hack Championship Manager and you just find all the best players on free transfers after 3 years of playing. That's what PSG is looking like.
What they got? Ramos now. They got Marquinhos.
Donnarumma.
Yeah. Oh, Donnarumma's the...
Wijnaldum for free.
Oh, my God.
They're about to get Paul Pogba.
I can take him. You know, you were saying about Pogba. It's right. The guy makes one good pass. The fairy tale with France is over because they all start blaming him. Rabiot's mother gets involved, blaming Pogba and Mbappe for not working back. It's glorious. The whole thing's falling over, and I'm here all day for it.
It is magnificent. You know, when you have that breakup and all of those good things that you always said about each other, all you need is for you to break up and then I'm sure you if you have to think back, sorry if I'm triggering your PTSD here, Paulo, but maybe when you're 16, 17 or whenever your previous girlfriend was before you met your lovely wife, but you know that feeling of we're breaking up and now I'm going to tell that person exactly what I actually think of what they did 6 years ago as well. It feels
doesn't take the French. Yeah, it doesn't take the French long to collapse. It's like they hold it all in. Oh, world champions. Let's get ourselves baller NBA rings. Oh, we're the best. We're the brotherhood. One bad pass, it's all over. It's all, the knives are out. I love it. It's glorious. It's anarchy. And it just shows you how fickle all of them are. And I hate all of them with a passion.
How do you really feel? Goodness gracious.
We're off to a hot start, and I do like that. I mean, so let's start off with Belgium. This golden generation thing, are we just chucking that about now? Is that what people are saying? Because first it was England, hey? England started this mess. calling
Well, yeah, the first one was, and I actually read it interesting yesterday that Euro 2004 killed off 3 golden generations: England, Portugal, and Czech Republic. And you were quite rightly having an argument on Twitter the other day about only France 98 to 2000, Brazil 94 to 2002, and Spain 2008 to 2012 can rightly be called golden generations. Everyone else is just a good bunch of players.
And even then, I argued against Brazil because I said the 94 Brazil team, I don't want to give them credit for 2002. You know, they did have 3 World Cup finals in a row, but, well, it was what, 98, it was 94, 98, 2002. Yeah. I think those were 2 separate generations. As far as I'm concerned, let's make it exclusive, right? France 07 to that, or what was it, 97, 98, when 2002, 2003, when they obviously finished off that. And then for me, the great Spanish team we've just had in modern day football, I can't think of another proper golden generation where it's the same guys involved all along. Surely it's only golden if you win. That's what if you win stuff. The gold is the medal. It's in the name, actually. The gold medal that you get that's the gold. Do that a couple of times. It's generational gold. It's in the name. So obviously I got skin in the game over Belgium, and not just myself, but I spoke to a lot of friends who are Italian and German and Dutch, and nobody can understand how the hell Belgium are number 1 in the world. How did they get there, right? Not even France stayed number 1 after winning the damn World Cup. Surely if you win the World Cup, you get a lot of points. Rank nonsense. It was just designed to sell Coca-Cola, I feel, when they first bought it out. Because it used to be the Coca-Cola World Rankings, and then FIFA made it official, right? So you go, if surely Portugal were European champions, they should have at least been a week at number 1, at least a week. Okay, would have made them as big as Jason Derulo, at least a week at number 1, but they're not, right? So how does the mathematics work out that they're number 1? So that's the first thing that bothers me, is how are you number 1? Your serial failures, whenever it counts. As soon as Belgium became favorites for the tournament, as soon as France went out, Belgium became favorites. Guess what they do? Collapsed. When I watched them, and I said it, I did not think that I watched the European champions against Portugal. I watched the European champions, aka Portugal. We weren't good at all, at all against them. But we dominated them. We controlled them. They had no game plan. They had no game management. They had no way of dealing with what we were doing. It was just sit back. Your keeper is going to bail you out and hope you can get the ball to De Bruyne. And then, when we broke De Bruyne in half, get the ball up to Lukaku. That's all they have. What golden generation is that? Then they come up against Italy. Italy played them completely. 70 minutes of football, 20 minutes of SHT housery. I loved it. It was glorious Italianness. Okay, that is an art form. And that's what you show. The difference between game management, in-game changes, understanding what your opponent's doing, reacting to what they're doing. And Belgium just had none of it. And it just goes, all due respect, because I've never played in Japan myself, but if you're a top-class international footballer playing in the European Championships and your club is Japanese, you got to ask some serious questions there. No, it's no good. And, I was looking at all the both golden generations that I've just described. Everybody always talks about like Xavi and Iniesta and David Villa, but I always say you can't win consistently building it around flair, which is what Belgium have tried to do, right? Is that actually, when you look back, think of that French team. When I say names to you, like Fabien Barthez, Lisa Razou, Leboeuf, who was Laurent Blanc, Lilian Thuram, the current manager, Deschamps. That's what it was built on. Henri and Zidane and these guys and Anelka and Trezeguet could go and have a good time, world tour, because you need that. But Belgium have Toby Alderweireld, who, for me, he's about 3 or 4 years past it. Vertonghen was past it 3 or 4 years ago. He was 3 or 4 years past it. And then you got Boyata and the model with the dreads as your other sort of core and centre backs. And then you got Witsel, who's just come off an Achilles tendon. And even Witsel, I don't think is an actual holding mid. There's no fear. He doesn't strike any fear into me with his swag, sort of mop of hair. There's nothing. It's not built on anything. Eden Hazard and Kevin De Bruyne are not a plan. Is as far as I'm concerned. That's a nice to have. That's the nice chandelier. It's not the base of the house. The point is having a nice chandelier is when your plumbing doesn't work in a house. That's what I say. That's what I say.
Exactly. And you should say it more, I feel. I don't feel you don't say it enough.
So, yeah, I don't get where this golden generation thing started, but it's over now, right? So let's shut it down. That's enough. Quiet down now. And because they're not winning the next World Cup, Paolo? They're all too old now.
Yeah, there's a quick turnaround towards the next World Cup, but I mean, the ship has sailed. I mean, that defense, Courtois will still be there. That back three, surely. I mean, okay, Portugal's got some pretty old centre backs, but I mean, I don't really see those three coming back together. Hazard, who knows what Hazard's going to do. And it's just done. Yeah, it's just done. And I'm glad because I never got this Belgium team. They got very good players, no doubt about it. But the management that they can attract and deeper than probably their best 5-6 players, there's no depth there. It's not like there's this continual line of good Belgian players. There'll be Belgian players, and Doku's going to play a big part in their future. But Doku is a far drop off from Hazard in his pomp and De Bruyne. So, I'm just glad it's done. There's one less thing to annoy me in international football.
Listen, Doku, by the way, immediately is Eusebio after one good game. I'd never heard of him before that game, and now everybody on Twitter is telling me that he's Eusebio already, by the way. So, can we pump the brakes there as well? Maybe get...
And one lucky penalty, because, that was a weird penalty. Weird.
Yeah, I know. It's, listen, no good. Paolo, let's start... maybe we'll start with tonight, and maybe I'll let James jump in here. James supports Spain because Fernando Torres once pitched up at Liverpool for 15 minutes and didn't actually win anything.
He's one of those.
Yeah, didn't actually win anything. Let's be clear, he didn't win anything. Yeah, they had to come to Chelsea to win proper prizes. But anyway, that's its own thing. James, your thoughts on tonight? Italy, Spain. Paolo, I'll let James kind of ask his questions, give his thoughts. He's had a good day as well. James shaved his beard. He's looking good, by the way, Paolo. James, your thoughts, Spain, Italy tonight. What are you thinking there, pal?
I think Spain are going to win it, not convincingly, though. I think by the skin of their teeth. I don't think any of their wins throughout the Euros have been convincing by any stretch of the imagination. I do have a question, though. Paolo, do you think that this sort of... what would you call it? This winning run that Italy are going to play a big factor for the rest of the tournament, especially tonight's game for Italy?
Spain and Italy is like one of those cool European rivalries. And I was actually reminded this morning of Tassotti breaking Luis Enrique's nose in '94. He just smashed his face. I remember that. It's very difficult to call between the two of them. That Italian run, any long run in any football is to be looked at, but you also got to look at the quality of opposition they've played. And then in this tournament, it came up against Belgium, was probably the hardest test and all of that. I think in a one-off game, it's almost irrelevant, what happens. My sense is that Spain are... they can sort of win ugly. We've seen them, I keep going adversity. It's like Italy haven't had adversity at all. They had 10 bad minutes against Austria. And I think just Spain know themselves better and they're battlers. And there's just something gritty about Spain. And saying that, Italy got Bonucci and Chiellini in the back. So, those two can pull out anything. But I just think there's just a little bit more with Spain, and that they know themselves probably when the chips are down, maybe better than Italy.
I think Spain's biggest problem is going to be the fact that they don't actually have an out-and-out striker. They've got Morata, but how reliable is Morata against Bonucci and Chiellini? Even not against them, he's fairly useless in my opinion. So I don't know. I think that's where the big problem is going to be. How he's scoring a goal, guys.
But he knows the Italian game though, and he knows those two. He's played with them. I think he's probably better suited to playing against guys who are more static like that. Morata, oh my God, Morata is the most frustrating, weirdest striker. Some of the goals he scored in the last game. It's like, what are you? Who are you? How do you even exist on this plane with us? He's so much potential, but like I said last time, I just want to hug him. Maybe he just needs a hug all the time. You know, we know Italian defenders like to hug, so maybe that'll be good for him. Like, give a little arm around him,
A little kiss on the cheek and a hug, huh?
Yeah, it'll be good stuff for him.
Good point. Good point on the Italian thing. Now, maybe that's why Italy was such a super spreader event, because you know how much they love to kiss each other on the cheek. Oh my goodness, the Italians, the hug and kiss on the cheek. Maybe that's why it was spreading in Italy. I mean, obviously, Paolo, I'm not going to commit you to a position there. I'm just saying that we do need to consider that, you know?
They were saying that at the time because of Italian culture, because you had multi-generations living together in the same house. And then also they said we get very affectionate people.
Yeah, mom.
Love a kiss.
Mama. Bambino.
Here's my thing on the Euros while we're Italians, right? Because I've got to go like this, right? Portugal got €1, Italy got €1, Denmark got €1. So I don't want Italy or Denmark to win because then they are better than us technically. I don't want England in the game, so England must not win. So I don't want them on one. Spain are quite far ahead. So Spain will be going for their fourth. Let them take it. That's fine. So that's where I'm at. That's the calculations, my spreadsheet I did. So Spain must win just based on I don't want them to have more than us.
Yeah,
or the others to have more. Yeah.
Do you think Spain can win though? Like,
yes.
They don't have. Again, they've got Morata. They've got kind of an okay midfield, but outside of that, what does Spain actually bring to the table? Can they actually go all the way with the squad that they have?
You know what the interesting thing about Spain is like somebody said the other day, they're like the best of the Europa League team. You know, it's like there's no, like you watch Europa League, you know all their players. You go, wow, there's a bunch of really good players. And if you watch La Liga, like highlights past, you know, so you know normally they have Real Madrid or Atletico in the beginning and then Barcelona or something at the end. And if you actually watch the games in the middle on the highlights, that's where a lot of the Spanish players are. There's just a grisliness about Spain. And I did say that Italy had it the other day, but I think now put it against each other. I don't think that this is the best group of Spanish players ever, but they do have, I don't know, I think maybe I want them to. Maybe I want them to win it more. And listen, if you're going to compare strikers, give me Morata over Immobile.
a man who had the miracle recoveries of all miracle
recoveries.
Incredible,
huh?
After the goal. The guy was, it looked like he had a broken ankle. As soon as that goal went in, it's incredible what a goal can do for an ankle.
Amazing.
Imagine Eriksen got up like that.
Yeah, no, that would have...
Was that too soon? I apologize.
You know, the guy's fine. Like, but okay. I've been told I need to try and be sensitive around that one, but he's fine. He may even play again. So, yeah, maybe a little soon.
I think a little bit soon.
But hey, talk to me about Spain. And do you know they missed 6 penalties in a row when you count that first penalty in the penalty shootout? They missed 5 penalties in open play, like in, you know, just regulation penalties. 5 in a row. How do you miss 5 in a row at that level?
Why's Busquets taking penalties though?
Wait, hang on. Before we go on speaking about penalties, how many penalties did it take for Chelsea to win?
Win what?
Didn't the Champions League go to penalties?
No. Why would we go to penalties when Kai Havertz is the best attacking midfielder?
Oh, no, that was one goal. What was the other thing that took 3 days for penalty? Oh, Manchester United. That's all good.
Yeah. Wow.
I
feel like that was a shot at you, by the way. That was a wow, what a joke. What a setup.
No, well, actually, I did think that. So imagine De Gea was in goals for that penalty shootout. I mean, it's just such a difference. I mean, to see a Spanish goalkeeper actually be like within the vicinity of the penalty, that's groundbreaking stuff. De Gea would still be there. All
right, let's talk about him, actually. Let's try. Let's move over to David De Gea. He's got to go. Hey, Paulo, are you all Henderson, or do you give him another chance at United?
No, I think we've got a goalkeeper, and I'm not inspired by Henderson. I think he's just changed for change's sake. He's solid. He's fine. I would still go with De Gea. I mean, I can't kick out a world-class goalkeeper. He's not what maybe we perceived he was, but Henderson, like I say, he's just changed for change's sake. He was just a different keeper for the sake of having seeing a different face. I mean, De Gea makes mistakes, but he's always going to, and which top keeper doesn't. This is a problem you don't need.
So what do you do? Move Henderson on? Because I don't think he's going to be happy rotating, because it probably cost him his spot at these Euros. Both keepers on the bench for England are in teams that have been relegated. I think Henderson played too little in order to secure that England spot. Do you move Henderson on, or do you think Henderson will want to move on? If I'm Henderson, I'm not sitting on the bench for another season. No way, because I'm better than Sam Johnson, and I'm better than, I forget who the Bournemouth lad is that Arsenal are trying to buy.
Yeah, and United have been stocking up on weird discount keepers. So I think it probably leads to one of them leaving with the PSG angle closed. De Gea doesn't go anywhere. So it probably will be Henderson, maybe going out on loan for another season, if not altogether.
Yeah, Norwich need a keeper. The last time Henderson had a good season, he was at Sheffield United. Yeah.
Didn't Man United just sign a keeper?
Tom Heaton. Yeah, he's just come home. He's from Manchester. So yeah, Burnley lad. I mean, that's a solid number 2. So that does tell you one of the big boys is leaving.
Yeah, it's probably going to be Henderson because, like I say, without PSG was always looking at an exit. I mean, De Gea is a massive wage. He's United's highest earner. So he's not moving easily for any transfer fee or wages. So he's not going anywhere. Yeah, and it's fine. I think that's fine. I think it's like one less problem to try to resolve.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Right, the big signing for you guys. I don't know what it does for you as a United fan. Jadon Sancho is in the house, essentially. It is signed, sealed, not quite delivered yet. Shout out Stevie Wonder, cracking song there. Happy with Sancho? Does it take United to the next level? What are your feelings around the Sancho?
Very low-key signing. Hey, you came out of left field. We did not see that coming. God, what a boring transfer saga. I was on your show a year ago when you were doing nighttime and you're live at night, and I understood him as the team sort of landed. It made more sense. You see sort of like how United evolved, and you go, okay, we're very unbalanced on the right because we got no threat on the right. Wan-Bissaka is just like zero threat. So this sort of addresses that. So now I'd say it actually is a better signing than it looked a year ago. I hope it's not our only signing. The signing that, so yes, to speak about Sancho, good signing. It's going to balance us and makes us very unpredictable. He can slot in a few different positions. He carries the ball nicely to break down those stacked defenses, which we often struggle against. And one thing I do say, and this is probably more to my own ignorance more than him, is that when you watch Sancho, you're either watching him, you find the Bayern game, or you watch him in Champions League where it's top class. I don't know what he does when it's a normal run-of-the-mill, get out of your seat, can you be bothered, things go against you. What sort of mentality he has there where, things aren't going your way and it doesn't look all positive, and how does he hide? Does he step up? What does he do? But, like I said, that's probably just myself not watching enough. I take it that every time I see a photo of Rashford, Sancho's with him, that, Rashford's probably a good judge of character. So he's probably a good guy. It's exciting. I mean, listen, there's not many better front lines in Rashford, Cavani, and Sancho with Bruno behind them. That is exciting, but there's other things to fix. But let's enjoy it. Very low-key signing.
What else would you fix at United? It's interesting that you're saying that you've got other things to fix there. Where would you want to shore up?
So this Varane link, and whether he's just playing for a new contract or whatever, or trying to get someone else out the water, you see Harry Maguire when he's next to probably a more confident defender, what he looks like. So I'm hoping that if a Varane or someone of that level comes in, it actually eradicates the need for us to play both McTominay and Fred, because then you got more confidence in your two centre-backs, and then it really lets those front four go. But I still think we short a top-class centre-back for now. I mean, that's where I'd probably look to go, okay, let's add someone in there, and then we're really looking interesting. Not by any means better than second, but a lot more interesting.
Pogba?
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, it's he doesn't get better. It's annoying now. It's just a hassle. Who takes him? If PSG wants him, fine, go. It's just I'm just so over it. You do watch him for France and you do see a different player, but it's like, and then people go, oh, Conte's next to him. Too bad. You can't have a safety blanket wherever you go. You got to adapt. You got to play with what's given to you. I'm just tired honestly, I'm just so tired of Paul Pogba. I'm so tired. He's such an infuriating footballer. So tired of him and the circus around him.
I totally agree. And sometimes, you know what sucks for me is that I don't know why people always have to wait until a relationship absolutely burns to the ground to break up. I saw this 2 years ago. They should have, United and Pogba should have just sat down, been civil about it. It's like, okay, something's not working, and I just think it's because United are corporate and Pogba wants to do his own thing. And it's cool not to get along. You don't have to be two bad people to break up. It doesn't have to be, Chernobyl in order for things to end. Things can just kind of be amicable. We're grown-ups. It's just not working. Au revoir. And I think maybe the Adidas thing had something to do with it, because obviously that's what they were doing with the new deal and aligning it with Pogba. Maybe that's a part of it. But for me, 2 years ago, it was clear that oil and water. It was clear to anybody who wasn't a United fan that it's not an ability thing. This ain't gonna work. Like, I couldn't work at HSBC. Like, after an hour, I'd be going berserk, right? I couldn't work at a bank. I just couldn't. Firstly, because I'm not smart enough, but also I haven't worn a suit, I don't think, I don't know, can't remember, not since a trick dance, I think.
Yeah, it's true, and it's like it's got to stop being looked at as a failure on both sides. It's just, you did well. You've come in, you've done some interesting things. It just doesn't work. We want to go in a different direction. You don't want to be here, but it's like this massive albatross of this massive transfer fee, massive wages, and I think just all round, like whichever, it just looks like a failure. It's a failure. It's a failure all round. But maybe everyone's just holding on to get one big trophy in the bag to go, oh, well, it wasn't that bad of a failure. So maybe cutting ties earlier just makes everyone look like a loser. I'm honestly so over it. I'm so sick and tired of that guy and his stories.
Yeah, and I think you're feeling like most Man United fans. Hey, Paulo, I want to tell you something that happened last week. Not football related. James sort of signified that he doesn't actually care whether his mother's happy or not.
Oh my gosh.
And I'd love to get your thoughts as a parent. So last week it became apparent through empirical evidence. His mom actually loves it if he looks gentlemanly and shaves his beard. And I said to James, look here, just shave your beard. Like you can do one thing for your mom after. So she worked in a corporate job, Paolo, for I think 30 years for him to go to a nice school and actually have food and live in a hoity-toity area. But James can't shave his face just so his mom can experience a single day of happiness. And a couple of weeks ago as well, James, we were talking about sort of happiness and walking on the beach. And James suggested that his mom actually walking on the beach and taking some time off in life now after having she's raised two, both to university level. Well, AFTA's not university, but he's gone through post-grad education, post-high school. And his brother is, I think, in Vietnam with a master's, James?
He's getting his master's.
Okay, he's doing his master's now. The other brother is still being raised by his mom. But James cannot stand the thought of his mom relaxing on the beach and just going for a walk once a week on the beach. Your thoughts on James basically saying his mom's happiness means nothing to him after she sacrificed for 30 years for him?
James, is that what you said? Is that your feeling? Was that Mbulelo's weird drowning me in grain take on the world?
It's very much Mbulelo's let's take this situation and blow it up and eventually turn it into something that it wasn't ever really.
Okay, so here's empirical evidence. We were talking about on the show. I didn't know James's mom was listening. And I said, look, she just wants you to look gentlemanly, right? And represent yourself in a manner which she feels would be gentlemanly in the world, because the world's a hard place. And she'd like to think, okay, I've raised this young gentleman into a fine young man. And she actually messaged in. Now, James, you can't say that's a lie.
Oh, no, that is the truth.
She sent a message saying, yes, a shaven face looks gentlemanly. So I'm talking about empirical evidence where what would make her happy. But James just says, nah, take that to hell. 30 years of sacrifice. Who cares? Get that out of here. I don't care about your happiness.
Quite an extreme from not shaving to like hating your mother's happiness. It is quite broad. Look, I mean, I've put my colors on the mask. I think James would be a fantastic son-in-law. I've said it before. So I've got to side with James. James, if anything, I have to say you need more beard. You know? Like this right now. I mean, I'm also like mid-shave. I mean, what you're doing right now, more beard. Because I feel what you're doing now, that's super disrespectful. Because if you shaved, that you're listening to your mother. If you're growing a beard, you're now doing something as a experiment, whatever. What you're doing right now, this mid sort of thing, when we're in this mid thing, what am I doing? So I think more beard is the key. Go all out. Because then you can at least say, I'm trying something, I'm evolving, I'm whatever, and your mother can appreciate that. But this right now, is just lazy. This is just cold. I don't feel like it.
It's gaslighting because he's saying to his mom he's gaslighting his mom. Like, that's a very good point. See, I knew we'd get to the bottom of it, and I think the solution in life is always somewhere in the middle. You know, I don't always want to be right, and kind of you brought me more to the middle. Is James, if you're gonna have a shaved face, shave properly. Give your mom some joy for 12 minutes.
Whoa. That is not the outlook you had last week. Last week, you were firm about it. You were going at me. You were projecting a lot of the time. That is not. You can't back down now just because Paolo is not agreeing.
No.
It's not that, because everyone knows that the most intelligent people in life, as the facts change, their opinions change.
Thank you. You've nailed it, Paolo. I'm open once and as a science,
the facts have changed.
As a science grad, I'm compelled. New evidence, if it shows that I'm wrong, must change my mind. Otherwise, I'm the morons I keep calling out. So, Paolo, I can't actually add to that. Absolutely dead right. There's new information. There's better thinking than mine. And I'm open to that. And I mean, again, that speaks to why I'm a better person than James. But I don't want to get into that, you know?
Hashtag more beard.
Hashtag more beard. We should hashtag that. Cliff Central Sport, Cliff C Sport. On Twitter, hashtag more beard. There we go. It went from, because before we were trying to do Save Michelle, which is his mom's name. We were trying to save her soul because essentially by James not shaving, she's obviously, you know, it's a mark in her heart every day that James isn't shaved. But there's new information. Hashtag more beard. I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
So I'm saying.
Again, also, I want to be honest. I'm not a loyal person. I will switch to what feels more right as well. So Paolo feels more sensible than right. I will switch. If anybody, listen, 2 minutes from now, somebody may say something else. I will switch to that as well if it feels like that's more right and more people side with that. So I'm not a loyal person. You better believe that.
I'll praise that. I think that's phenomenal. I look forward to being stabbed in the back. I actually can't wait. I cannot wait for it.
Oh, that's awesome. Paolo, that's great. That's great. Is football coming home? It is England-Denmark. And then it is the final at Wembley. Is football coming home? Your thoughts on England, Denmark? Hey, those Danish guys, outside of the Christian Eriksen fiasco, which I don't really want to get into, you know. Somebody said I need to be more sensitive with it. Whatever. I'm over the Eriksen thing. He's fine. He's a gajillionaire, and he may play football again. Denmark aren't bad, actually. They are not bad.
They got a lot of good players there. A lot of very good players. I rate Kasper Schmeichel hugely. Christensen, listen, right through. There are top class performers in that side who play well together. A bit of a golden generation. It's not going to be easy. And you know what the thing is? There's a 60,000 capacity at this game, and those England fans, you know what they do? They expect, they demand. And if you're starting to hit 50, 60 minutes and it's 0-0. Denmark aren't feeling the pressure. Trust me. There's only one team feeling the pressure at that point. It almost seems too perfect that England get semi and the final at home. One's got to give. I like a lot of the England players. They're actually a lot of very likable and relatable guys. And Southgate is a relatable guy, but their fans stink. So I don't want them to have that sort of like, oh my God, can you imagine the nonsense we have to put up with for years? years if they win. If it comes home,
yeah.
Just take it.
So no, we don't want that, because I'd rather put up with the terribly, the classic documentary where Christian Eriksen, it'll be opening shot, a heartbeat over a screen, a man on the floor, whatever. I'd rather put up with like 16 of those documentaries than football going home. I'll be honest with you.
Have you ever watched that thing on Netflix about the 92 Denmark win?
No.
It's great. It's not a documentary. It's a reenactment. So they have people playing Schmeichel, and the loud drops is fantastic.
Wow.
It's so bad.
I have to watch it.
American?
No, it's Danish. So it's originally in Danish with subtitles. And it's the story of how they won the 92 Euro. Oh my God, you guys were talking about goal earlier. At least the football scenes in this look like football. Goal, aka the Chicharito life story, it's not as bad as goal. Goal is like goal. It sets football films like a new standard. I mean, there was some phenomenal things in there. I mean, we got to do it maybe one day, like a football movie, like review. Goal 1 and 2 was something. Goal 3, do you guys ever see that?
Oh, you're joking.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Did they make a third one?
Mm-hmm.
So 1 and 2, at least we understood, were massive Adidas adverts.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had, Adidas sponsored guys in it. Goal 3, they didn't even go outside. Everything was green screen.
Dude. It was bad. It was bad, dude.
It was the World Cup. They went to the World Cup. These two guys were England players. Oh my God. It was like a James Madison fever dream.
Wait, hold on. I need to write this down.
Oh, it was so good.
Goal
3.
It was quality stuff.
Where do you think I can find it? I don't want to pirate stuff anymore, Paolo. I stopped pirating it about a year ago.
So one thing that we actually discovered, so obviously, Dorian and I do that 80 show and we do movie reviews.
Plug.
What we've discovered is that if a movie is so rubbish, it's on YouTube, because YouTube don't even bother taking it down. They just like upload it, whatever you want to do. I'm willing to bet Goal 3 is on YouTube, the whole thing. Not even small frame rate, nothing. It's full high quality. It is terrible.
Can't wait.
Amazing. It's amazing.
Full movie, Goal 1, 2, and 3 are on YouTube.
On YouTube, understandable. Paolo, see, this is why you got to ask somebody who understands. Now, Paolo, you spoke about something called That 80s Show there. I'm happy to jump all over the place. A lot of people would say, hey, maybe plan your show like an old school show. Nope, not that type of show. You said something, That 80s Show. Care to tell us what that is, Paolo?
Rediscovering and reliving.
Paolo, hold on. You're gonna have to start that again, because your dial-up internet or whatever's going on there in that sort of slum of an area where your office is. Start that again, ladies and gentlemen. We're now, Paolo, you want to tell us about That 80 Show, because we got to be able to clip this. You know what I'm saying?
No, it actually changed because I went back to the 80s, so I went to a 56K dial-up. You see, so I'm no longer on broadband. That's what happened there.
I hear you.
It is a show where we just talk about and love the 80s, and we've recently started interviewing some of the acts from the 80s and got a nice 80s artist lined up this week. Karen White did Secret Rendezvous, Superwoman, performed in South Africa quite a few times with Brian McKnight, big name in 80s R&B. She was part of Bobby Brown's crew, performed with Prince, was backup singer to Prince. Really, really interesting. We'll have a little bit of her clips in the show. It's just 80s stuff. It doesn't matter, doesn't count. It's all made up and no one really cares.
And where do we find it, Paolo? It's all good and well knowing what the show is. Where do I find That 80s Show?
On Cliff Central, 9 o'clock on Fridays, plays out live. We're live then, and then we take the best bits and put it out as little content. But to find the details, That 80s Show SA on Facebook.
Lovely. That 80s Show SA on Facebook. You got to love that.
Say that one more time.
That 80s Show on Facebook. That 80s Show SA. Yes. Round of applause.
Paolo probably can't hear it. I'm not sure, but we're clapping is what's happening now.
No, I heard it. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't clapping because I'm stoic and nothing moves me.
Bless you.
You're from Stoke, what?
See
that guy from Stoke who was playing for Chile in the Copa America?
Yeah, no, who was that?
Bure or something like that. So Copa America is sort of happening. No one really cares because it's like the COVID Cup. And this dude, like no one cares about Copa America. It's semifinals already. It was lined up for a Brazil and Argentina final. No one cares because like you shouldn't care.
Yeah.
Like right now. But anyway, so Chile have the striker Buraton. And he was playing for Stoke and then went to Blackburn. Chilean fan was a football manager, finds this guy has got Chilean heritage, starts a Twitter campaign, and the guy gets called up to play for Chile. Never been to Chile in his life. His parents are both Chilean, and there he is, been playing in Copa America, scoring goals, causing trouble, not getting kicked in the head by Gabriel Jesus.
Fantastic stuff.
Remember the name.
Buraton.
Remember the name.
Awesome.
Wow.
Now that is an awesome thing. It's like a Bosman moment, but you just raised something there that I nearly skipped over. Gabriel Jesus' karate kick is
amazing.
It's so much better because Sadio Mane had one. Remember on who's the Brazil keeper again? The guy
Edison.
Yeah. So
Edison, yeah.
So that was a pretty bad one, and obviously De Jong's one. In the World Cup final.
On Xabi Alonso.
But this one was proper, to use a crass stereotype, proper South American, not a care in the world, and he nearly removed his jugular with his boots. You love to see it.
It was so violent. It was so much violence. And you do love to see it.
You do.
You do.
You do. The game's gone soft out here. All right, Paulo, listen.
If a man cannot kick another man in the face,
Yes.
the game's gone.
Preach.
The game is gone.
Preach.
Hey. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. But speaking of those English, weird South American people where there's a mix and you're not quite sure how this happened. Alexis McAllister, by the way, he plays at Brighton and is Argentine. Just so you know. I don't know if you've seen him, but
what's his name?
He's got the red beard, Alex McAllister. So he's got that red beard. Looks a little bit like James, but more of a Sheridan Shaqiri type of look with the bulldog vertically challenged look. You know the man I'm talking about?
I do. And there was another guy who played for Argentina through the 90s. There was like Gustavo Guillermo Henrique Brown.
There's also a guy that plays for the French squad. His surname's Hernandez.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what his first name is.
Left back.
Yeah, left back Hernandez for the French.
Yeah, but that
squad.
could be Basque, you know. That one's kind of tricky.
His brother has played for Spain before.
Yes.
So the one that plays for Real Madrid, because there's two Hernandez brothers, which one plays for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
And so one is Spain, one is France. And they were both born in Spain, yeah.
That makes sense now.
Well, yeah, it's like who's the other ones? The Boatings.
Yes, the Boatings are
the
many
Boatings, yeah.
nationalities.
Yeah, no, they
They're
are
a couple.
Kevin Prince being an electric factory, by the way. He's everything you want a footballer to be for content.
Exactly.
Like, don't we live in a great world where Kevin Prince Boateng has spoken at a UN rally?
I know. The same Kevin Prince Boateng that says he has like lots of intercourse before games, even though he's told not to.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta love that guy.
No,
and then he goes to a UN rally.
I like
the UN rally. You go, I know what you were just doing.
Yeah. No,
I know what you just did.
I love that. So across the board, if it's a big game for him, he's got
It's like now he wants to swap shirts with you. Dude, no, it's cool.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm good, dude.
So it's all right. I don't need that kind of energy, especially in COVID. I mean, it's bad enough that you're that close to him. Who else are you close to, you know? So shout out to...
It's like gonna Nick Cannon impregnate 6 people at the same time.
Nick, let's talk about that quickly. I mean, we're talking about 4 kids in 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah, with like different, I think it's like 5 different women or something.
What's 4? 4 kids. Yeah. Difficult to have
Yeah.
more than,
Yeah,
more
that
than-
makes sense. But
unless you've had twins, yeah.
no, I just knew that the amount of kids was like nearing the amount of mothers or 9 months
in a
or,
year.
yeah, something like that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Stupid stuff.
It's I mean, you're ridiculous for
I am
for your
ridiculous.
math, for your shocking maths there, and so is Nick Cannon.
I did maths lit, so you can't blame me.
Well, you're at AFTA. I'm not shocked by that, you know.
Well, I mean, in all fairness,
not
maths
news
lit
to me.
happened before after. So
And clearly maths wasn't lit for you because you went to AFTA.
Yes.
Yeah, you see what I've done there?
It's not the first time I've heard it.
Not. No, all right. Well, it works. It works, and Nick Cannon's mental. You don't need 4 kids in 1 year. What is going on? And somebody free Britney, I think. From like
Is Britney free? Have we?
No. Which is why it's still important
That's
to have the
disgusting.
hashtag free Britney. It's still important to have the hashtag. Paulo, listen, I'm not sure how much time you got. Are you able to stay with us for some questions? Quickly take some questions from the comments. All right.
I love it. I've only got Goal 3 to watch this afternoon. So plenty of time.
Yeah, you could probably have that on your phone while you're going on YouTube.
All right. I don't think there's an awful lot of questions for Paulo. First one. Where in Portugal is Mr. Diaz from? From Mbalelo G.
Oh, my family, I'm first generation born here. My family's from Madeira, the same island as Ronaldo. So both he and I are forged from the volcanic ashes of that lovely little island.
That's
which
wonderful.
is closer to Morocco than it is to Portugal. Fun fact.
Any sort of chance of it just being renamed Ronaldo Island?
Definitely it's
Probably.
gonna happen.
Absolutely.
The airport is now named the Cristiano Ronaldo International Airport. Everything's named. He will definitely be. The island will be renamed Ronaldo Land.
How many of his hotels are there, Paulo? Because he's got the hotel group, and that is it his mom or his sister that runs it all?
I don't know if the family runs it, but he's got a massive hotel empire. The main one is in Portugal. He's such a good guy. I mean, he is offering them up as COVID quarantine sites. If families had to quarantine, you can quarantine. They're now vaccination sites. No one else is staying there, but he's making use of them.
A little bit insulting to the. I think it is a fishing sort of. The economy is what fishing there, hey, Paulo?
Well, tourism, pretty much only.
A little bit insulting to the locals who can't actually afford to stay at his hotel, or we're not going to get into it that much to have a hotel.
It's by no means a poor island. I mean, I think the funny thing is if you watch the sort of movement between a lot of people used to leave Madeira to come to South Africa or go to Venezuela because opportunities were quite, there weren't many. And now the reverse is happening. Loads of people are going back there from Venezuela for different reasons. Yeah, as well. To go back because it's blossoming, it's thriving, all off Ronaldo tourism. If you can't sell a Ronaldo statue or bust in Madeira, you cannot consider yourself a salesperson. So it's Ronaldo tourism, basically. That's what it thrives and lives on.
You gotta love it. Hey Jimbo, let's read all the comments quickly. Let's doesn't necessarily need to be for Paulo. He can maybe give an opinion on anything that's there.
Alrighty. Just the one that's next on the list. Paulo, should United sign a right back or keep Dalot? Will Rashford take a long break after his surgery?
Dalot is probably not going to stay at United. Shame, poor kid. Came in, Portugal's 4th choice to debut in such a situation. I don't think he did great. I mean, he looked okay at AC Milan, but he's just not going to be... He'll be never anything more than a backup. And if he's okay with that, that's fine. But, I can probably raise something. I saw Real Madrid linked with him, which is quite weird. I don't rate Wan-Bissaka all that much. But, I mean, like I say, it's why I go create another problem you don't need. I saw Trippier mouthing off this morning. That'll be okay, I suppose. But no, I mean, like I say, why go make another problem you don't need? It seems to work there, even though it's not that effective. And then the next part of that question was?
Should Rashford or will Rashford take a long break after his surgery?
Yeah, the guy needs something, hey? He's definitely broken because I believe there's a foot surgery and a shoulder.
And he's got to keep up with feeding the kids. He's got to... He's a busy man.
He is a busy guy.
Yeah, he's not fit. I mean, he's definitely not fit. And that's that's why I said earlier when I said Sancho plugs a few holes, it could be one. He played on the right on that left hand side for England for a lot of the game. So probably with that in mind, it's good. At least he can get some fitness, get himself back into shape without the pressure.
Yeah.
All right. So to give you context for these next sort of 3 questions, Paulo, this morning we were talking about Laurel Hubbard, the transgender athlete that will be competing in the weightlifting at the Olympics. And we were sort of talking about whether it's right or wrong or what's really the sort of what the move should actually be for the Olympic Committee. So Jim Holland says, I can't keep quiet. Oh my God. How can that be allowed? What an insult to legitimate female athletes that have trained for 10 years. Any thoughts from either of you guys?
So I haven't followed the story closely, but is it he used to be a man and now he's competing in the women's event?
Yes.
Yes, now it's a she. By the way, a fun fact. Dad used to be the mayor of Auckland and also one of the biggest food groups, the Hubbard Food Group, massive food group in New Zealand. So it's not exactly low profile either. That news is scorching in New Zealand, by the way.
Yeah, I think the point there that you raise, the point there is that, listen, I'm not going to talk about any measure of expertise, but the point is going, is it fair to train their whole life to get to this point to somebody who was training in one category and then gets parachuted in? I suppose there's an argument there. It was something that was bothering me, and to bring it back to soccer, is that every time people were saying Ronaldo is now going to break the record for goal scorers, it was always specified the men's record. And it just struck me as like, it just felt like a little bit extra, because it's like, well, I mean, he's only playing against men. If the female player who holds the record, because that's like another 70 odd goals, put her against in the same environment, I mean, Ronaldo's going to score 20 goals a game in a female team.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm being Captain Woke here, but it just naturally you feel he would. Where would that female athlete do the same in his side? So I just don't understand this thing of like comparing men's sports and female sport. Like I was watching Wimbledon yesterday, and men's tennis and women's tennis are different games.
Different
They're
sports.
completely different games.
Absolutely.
They're different sports, completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I think just the point of going, there's somebody, a female athlete who's been training all her life to get to this level versus somebody who's now being parachuted in. That doesn't feel right to me more than anything, the gender politics around it.
Yeah, the problem is that people make it a human rights versus a science issue, and you're always going to run into problems there. Is that you had the genetic advantage of growing up until this age and training with male sort of testosterone levels, which you almost can't reproduce in women, is really one of the arguments. It's not a morality argument. It's purely a numbers argument. It's a scientific argument, but people bring the human element, and that makes it even trickier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what also adds to that, and I wanted to bring it up when Umbelelo and I were speaking about it earlier. So Jim Holland in the comments says, I don't know if you guys heard about that athlete that was banned from the Olympics for cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
So that's essentially what Jim Holland's comment was about. Where's the consistency within who's banned and who's allowed? And I think, like I said, I was going to bring it up. I don't. It's hard to say because, yeah, it's cannabis. Whether it's a performance-enhancing drug is another thing. But surely this sort of ruling by the Olympic Committee to allow Laurel Hubbard into the Olympics and to compete and stuff, surely puts a thing in the athletes' minds about, okay, well, if we can sort of bend the rules there, what's stopping us from bending the rules in this sort of area? I don't know if that makes sense.
So I've got a take on that. I don't like this line of argument, and this is what happens when you have trial by a sort of public court. They're not the same issue, right? The Sherry Richardson thing was, is marijuana illegal for an Olympic athlete? Yes or no? No. Then she can take it. Is it illegal? Yes. Sorry, you're banned. It's got nothing to do with the other issue. Like, don't conflate the issues. They are not related. You have to existentially view each case on its merits, right? Don't conflate the two, because then we get into social justice warrior territory. Is it illegal to smoke marijuana? Not what's your opinion, because quite frankly, I don't want 99% of the world's opinion affecting how we live as society. People are idiots and they eat McDonald's for breakfast. I don't want to hear from most of you. What are the rules? Marijuana is illegal. You are banned. Sorry. I'm sorry. Like whether now when we get into the opinion of mostly, potheads. I also don't want to hear from potheads about whether it's illegal or not. Do you have a science degree? No. sorry, I don't want to hear your conversation about how marijuana is good for you and it's actually a healing agent. Most of the science actually says that's absolute nonsense, by the way, and it does harm your memory. And I'm talking about things that I've read and listened to by neuroscientists, not from you and your drum circle friends. So the marijuana thing is it's not the same argument. Let's view it separately. Don't. So yeah, your thoughts, Paolo.
Well, dare I go to my drum circle friends? Yeah, listen, I think black and white goes, is marijuana a drug? Yes, it's still classified as one. Are drugs banned in this competition? Yes, they are. So, I mean, it's just pretty as black and white as that, so it's not a sports issue. It's an issue of like, what's the classification of what you're smoking or what you're using.
And I have no problem with people smoking weed, by the way. That's a completely separate thing. Please don't hear me say, I have no problem. Do as long as you're not harming anybody, you go and doob it up and play your didgeridoo all you want. No problemo. But what I like is rules, and I also like a bit of logic. And again, in philosophy, we have something called existentialism for a reason. Please exercise that. They are not the same issue. Do not conflate them. That is my take.
Niku says, why don't trans people compete against each other if there's so many of them?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that is, again, that becomes a human rights issue, right? We want to be included, not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I've never actually even considered that one sure. Yeah, that would open up a whole, yeah. Oh my goodness, the Trans Olympics. Oh, I'm not even getting into that one. Let's just deal with Hubbard for now.
Kutle says, can't imagine MKT being a stay-at-home dad, cleaning the house, cooking, looking after the kids, and attending all the parent-teacher meetings. You'll go mad.
For those who have no context there, I was saying earlier is I would one of my the best jobs in the world, Paul, I've always said, third choice goalkeeper in any Premier League team, and being a stay-at-home dad. I've always said 2 best jobs in the world. Like if my wife is like, I would marry Bezos's ex-wife now, even if I didn't love her. I'd do it.
Well, who does she play for?
Oh, no.
Who does she play golf for?
Oh, are you thinking I should marry a third choice Premier League goalkeeper? Then I've got 2 of the best jobs. I see what you've done there, and I love it, Paolo.
Good stuff.
It is good stuff, yeah, but I was saying that earlier. So, listen, for the right amount, I would definitely clean the house. I mean, if she's a billionaire, we on.
Sure.
Yeah, but you wouldn't then. You found a loophole.
That's what I say. Yeah. Maybe I'd have a little bit of some side action. That's a third choice goalkeeper while I'm married to Bezos's wife. All of these things I'm open
to. Umbelelo G says, oh no, Barcelona are becoming like Kaiser Chiefs.
No, let's not push it. I mean, Kaiser Chiefs are a joke. Although Kaiser Chiefs are in the bloody Champions League final. That is awful for the whole of South Africa. So, but Pizza's going to take care of that. You know what? I would rather England won the Euros than Kaiser Chiefs won a Champions League. I would rather. And over my dead body.
How do you really feel?
Oh, Kaiser Chiefs. Yeah, you know what? Kaiser Chiefs fans are impossible to be happy for. They're the type of disgusting humans. It's impossible to be happy for them. So it's like Liverpool fans. It's impossible to be happy for them because they do one thing and it's the greatest thing of all time. Please, Kaiser Chiefs fans, do me a favor.
Blah, whatever.
Do me a favor.
Umbelelo G says, Neymar might be overrated, but he always contributes. Last night he took Brazil to the Copa America final.
Your thoughts on Neymar and his career, Paulo? I think he's turning 28 now. Yeah.
Yeah, there'll always be, I don't know why there's a sense of unfulfilled with him because he's won pretty much everything. And if you actually look at his reasons for going to PSG was his opportunity to be the franchise player. You know, in soccer, we don't talk about it, but in American sports is the concept of the franchise player. And that was why he went to PSG because Barcelona was never going to be his. He's a guy who needs his own team, and he arrives at the same time as Mbappe, who's now supersedes him. So I think there's like probably that tinge of regret. He's got to lift a World Cup for Brazil and a Champions League for PSG, I think, for people to go, okay, that's for full potential. Ballon d'Or and winning that sort of stuff. I mean, it's a team sport, and it shouldn't be quantifiable. But if he lifts those two, which is getting further and further away with every year, and you also got a question: where's his commitment and that? I mean, imagine a committed Neymar.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like, imagine Neymar with Messi and Ronaldo's drive. Oh my God! But he doesn't seem to have it. He seems to be a baller, and that's fine. I mean, he's knows more than me. But there will always be that element of, what if with him.
speaking of which, Kylian Mbappe has nothing to apologize for. He's one of the young superstars in football that I will always defend. Like, he's the one guy emerging, and I like Haaland as well, but I'd like to see another season of Haaland. But Mbappe, it looks to me like he takes it seriously. If there was some stuff in the closet, I think it would have come out by now. Is that, hey, you missed a penalty. What does he have to apologize for? I hated that situation that put him in a place where he felt like, and I guess he is young, we must keep that in mind, that he had to come out and apologize on social media. He has nothing to apologize for. He's given it his all. He missed a penalty, right? Anyone who's played football understands that. Hey, he's the type of guy you forgive him. You understand for the next 10 years, you got yourself a serious guy you can rely on. But I don't know.
And I think it's this broader thing of like players making these like sweeping grand statements on social media. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
It's just like, don't apologize for losing. Don't say, oh, we feel as bad as you do. Just shut up and just the next game, don't do that. Like, that's all. Just do that. I don't need a soliloquy. Just don't do the stupid thing you did again. That's all. I don't need to hear about it.
100%.
I assume you're sorry. I assume you're upset you missed. That's fine. You don't have to tell me about it. We get it.
Well said. Hey, beautifully said. We've been watching football for years. We know how it goes, pal. What we got next, pal?
Niku says, MKT, some days you should just call yourself ridiculous.
This may be because following the break, of course, I said what people are saying, and some people don't like it, is that after surviving COVID, people are saying I'm a hero, much in the mold of Nelson Mandela, Oprah, and the great Dr. Martin Luther King. That's what people are saying. That's all I said.
Look.
And I said I wasn't great. I said I wasn't a hero. I said I'm just a great man who gets out of bed 1 foot at a time.
Look, those are exceptional people.
Thank you. Are you including me on that list?
Are you one of them, though?
Well, I said, look, hey, Martin Luther King, he survived. He went through some strife.
Yeah.
He eventually got murdered. I went through some tough stuff. And I made it.
Yeah, but...
it was called COVID, James. Yeah. Have you heard of it?
So far.
I don't think...
I made it so far. Thank you, yeah.
I don't think there was much of a doubt that you would make it, though.
Well,
so...
I mean, I don't want to start getting into it, but people are dying from COVID.
That is true. People are dying.
And I didn't. With all due respect to those that have passed and to those who have lost, of course, condolences. But I didn't. And people are saying I'm Martin Luther King of the northern suburbs of Johannesburg. I'll take it, James, or whatever. I think it's a bit much because I'm just a great man, again, who gets out of bed 1 foot at a time. But I want to move on. What else we got, James?
Alrighty then. That's painful. Niku says James would look like one crazy Yeti if his beard grows back in 12 minutes. Well, look.
Yeah.
I agree.
So some might say at 6'3" he does look like a crazy Yeti already. But I mean, hey,
just a pretty face.
Do you know what you look like? Actually,
James.
now that Nico's just said it.
Do I look like James?
You look like the douche, like if there was a CrossFit douchebag version of Yetis, it would be James. Like, because his hair is unbelievable, always. I presume he blow dries and brushes it and talks to it and, and gets a spiritual advisor to get it shape. His hair is unbelievable and his beard is grizzly. He'd be the douchebag. He'd be the guy telling you that you got to do yoga and go vegan if he was a Yeti. Because he's 6'3" as well. So the man is a man mountain. And as Paulo says, Paulo, what do you always say about James and being tall?
He carries his height well. He doesn't strike me as tall, but he is. He
I love that
his
every
height.
time I hear it. He carries his height well. Oh, it's so good. All right.
You get some people that are tall. And you're like, my God, are you in control? Like, and then you go, can you kick the roof? They're like, that's the first question I want to ask, like really tall guys. But James, you don't get that, and it's like when you think James is quite tall, but I'm not frightened by him. You just get some guys. You don't know where that arm's going. They don't even know. And then they tend to have big feet as well. Yeah, oh God, these size 13s, you up there, you can't see me. I'm a short guy. I feel like an ant. So small hamsters must feel. So well done, James.
What's the weather like down there for you
so
guys?
good. It's so good.
Wow.
Like an ant.
That was good stuff. Umbelelo G says, if you think surnames are confusing, Pulisic is not Croatian nor Serbian, but American.
And yeah, that is confusing.
It is.
Just keep it to Smith.
Smith.
Yeah, he's American. Just change it to Smith.
John Smith.
Because you know, a lot of immigrants back in the day in America would change, and some of the Jewish immigrants in particular at that time, it wasn't that. The Americans back then hated anyone who wasn't pure American. So it just so happened that some of the stories I've read is they would change their surnames because they would come obviously from Russia, Lithuania, and wherever else to settle in on the east coast of America, and they'd change their surnames. So a lot of the sort of English surnames, and yeah, and it's Jewish sort of descendants because obviously you don't want to seem like a foreigner. So why couldn't Christian Pulisic do it?
Christian Smith sounds pretty good.
Yeah, just
sounds
change it.
Pretty American.
You're rich, change it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's confusing. I'm on social media, Christian Pulisic. I expect to see you in a Croatia shirt.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, so Plus, I got COVID going on, so
it's true.
It's unbelievable. But he is a Champions League champion, though. Shout out to him. Age of 22, phenomenal.
Umbelelo G says United are sleeping on the centre forward position. It's going to be Cavani's last year. And who else?
Paulo, a good question there.
Wait, it wasn't done.
Oh.
And who else? Question mark. Igalo? Question mark. Crying face.
He's gone already. That is a good question. Do you feel because Cavani? I think you said it before. Was that United have now finally seen what it's like when you have a proper number 9 with the class movement and the touch and that. Almost the opposite of Romelu Lukaku, really. Somebody who's got a first touch and has top-class movement and is actually a decent finisher. Not sure if you saw Lukaku's miss against Italy, and people mustn't tell me Spignola blocked that. No, Lukaku, that is an embarrassing miss at that level. Point is Greenwood ready to step in? Because Cavani can't play 38 games, right, Paolo, and the midweek games.
I'm going to use one question. I didn't spout my disdain of Lukaku.
Yes.
This is a guy who's irritating me, right? Going back, right? So he's at United. He's heavy, not overweight. Because God, I'd love to be overweight like that. I'd love to be overweight like Luke Shaw, right? He's heavy. He's built like a boxer, not like a footballer.
Yeah.
Goes to Inter Milan. All he does is badmouth United after he leaves and blames United for the way he put on weight. You can blame a team for a lot of things. Your body's your body. You can't blame someone else because you put on weight. So he's got this thing, right? He's a super intelligent footballer. I think the laziness is you think he's just a brute, but he's not. He's very clever, good passer, got a lot of vision, brings people into the game. Probably as good as Harry Kane. If you see the way he interchanges with Martinez, Lautaro Martinez, it's how clever the guys. He sprouts a week before I should be in the same level as Lewandowski, Kane, and Benzema. Let me tell you why you're not, because those guys are cold-blooded killers. Those guys do not miss that chance, okay? Those guys don't let Donnarumma into their head that after they score a penalty, do the whole shush mouth thing. It just shows that your head is not killer, Harry Kane, Benzema, Lewandowski don't do that. They finish the goal. They don't care what Donnarumma does. They kill the game, okay? Those are assassins, those guys. Lukaku doesn't have that, and then you get into the football where it's just got that terrible first touch, okay? So he will not be considered at that level until he starts assassinating at that level and improves his first touch. Cavani is everything a modern centre forward should be. Greenwood is the long-term aim, I think, with United is to push Greenwood into that number 9. And I think now that he can rotate and move and probably play in that position, it's a huge risk. But who's going to come to United knowing that Cavani's first choice and you're going to play very few games? I would also like to say, never judge a player on a tournament. Any top-class team who's looking for probably the next big striker, Patrick Schick. That's got to be your guy. If Harry Kane leaves, Spurs can do way worse than putting Harry Schick in as his replacement. So to answer the question, yes, it's taking a risk on Cavani. He's not playing 38 games, but also maybe we've got enough variety up front. And there's always Anthony Martial, who really thinks he's a number 9.
I forget that he's a person that lives with human rights. He's
Tell me about it.
What's happening with him, Paulo? He's got to go, or is he staying? Well, what's going on there? Because he's on a packet as well. I don't know who's going to pay those wages.
No, but you do need a couple. You watched United and that they got flogged, and everyone was just like done by the end of the season. So to have a few, they're all going to get their games, and there's a rotation and there's enough in between there. So it is risky of taking a number 9, but I just think with the players he's brought in, he's probably less likely to play with a central target. It's nice to have the options, but it is risky to just go on one. But I don't think anyone comes to sit bench.
So from what you're saying there, hey, I want to tell you something. I'm sold on Greenwood. I actually, besides him calling girls in, having the worst Mac game in the world, by the way, as well, with girls in Iceland, because we all heard that call. I don't know what he's doing there.
And he's using Snapchat.
That's what I'm saying.
What's this? 2014.
And also, you're the Manchester United backup striker. What are we doing? You can get anybody's number. Everybody wants to be where you are. But my point is, honestly, ability-wise, Paulo, he is a precocious talent. That's a wunderkind for me. But you don't sound as sold. I would have thought you'd be happy. But I am. Listen, I think he's a serious guy, and he needs to be taken seriously, in my opinion. But maybe I'm wrong. What were your thoughts on Greenwood?
No, well, I mean, that's obviously the long-term aim, and you're not going to, to learn under Cavani and Solskjaer, having Solskjaer as your manager, teaching you how to be a striker, not possible. And there's very few. Haaland as a outright number 9, there's very few guys at that age are ready to play that. Coming in from wide, it's a very different game.
Yeah.
That number 9, leading the line, letting everyone know which direction to point the furniture is not easy. And he's not ready, and he'll absolutely collapse if he's given that number 9 role now. It'll ruin him. No. And I think Solskjaer probably knows better.
No, fair enough. Hey, nice cover to have in Edinson Cavani. What else we got, Paul?
That is it.
Paulo, you've you promised an hour, but you did an hour and 22, and that speaks to your character, And Paulo, I want to finish off with this. You got anything to say about? I can't get enough of this guy. I was just reading articles on the weekend about him, and I was just watching clips about him. I hope it's the farewell for him, but just again, I want to finish off on Cristiano Ronaldo. Just pure greatness. And, on the weekend, I haven't cried in a long time. I nearly cried just because I know I think it's over. I think it'll never be the same again from him, especially in the Portugal shirt. But I think at club level, he will be. I hope this is the end. Just Cristiano Ronaldo. There aren't words to capture this man's greatness. Leo Messi as well. I preferred Leo Messi, but I don't look at them as I have to pick either. Just Cristiano Ronaldo. I want to finish off on that as a Portugal fan. Now that the sort of dust has settled, I mean, not only are Portugal lucky, I think planet Earth is lucky to have seen this man.
So George Mendes, after playing chess with half the Premier League and moving managers and players around, he's having a blinder. My God, is that man having the moment. Then goes in to secure Ronaldo probably on another deal. You're right. I mean, club wise looks good. And the thing is, there's a very quick turnaround to the next World Cup. So he should be there. I don't know if it'll be the same. It's funny you say about you bring him up. Why specifically didn't mention him with the Benzema and the Kane and the Lewandowski is because those guys are born strikers. Ronaldo's a manufactured striker, and he keeps changing his game to what the occasion needs. And, maybe there's still one more slight little tweak and change to his game. And I think he's in the position with both Juventus and Portugal where he'll take some time off. I don't think you're going to get 100 games, 60, 70 games between now and the World Cup. He's probably going to manage his time and his body very well to one big crack at the World Cup. He's going to say, I'm not going to play every game, and he's going to be respected for that. And listen, we've been lucky, and a lot of people want to draw this line, Messi, Ronaldo. I hate the debate. It's such a childish, 14-year-old debate, is that we've been blessed, and we won't realize in 10 years in time when they're not playing, we'll go, my God, did we watch two of the best guys, the best to ever play this game. Pele and Maradona, that was fine for our father's generation. These two, and listen, my father watched both, and he says these two are better. And we'll realize that we've been blessed to watch these two every week whenever we want, not every 4 years, every single week we get to watch them. And why argue? Why try to make the hate, for a hashtag? Forget it. Only hashtag counts is hashtag more beard.
Ah,
What a way to end.
That's it.
What a way.
Paulo, you're a champion. Looking forward to seeing you soon, my brother. Just,
Awesome,
What a way.
just magnificent.
What
Paulo,
a way.
thanks for your time.
Thanks, gents. Thanks for listening.
Cool. Enjoy watching goal 1, 2, and 3.
It's on now. Goal 3 is busy loading right as we speak.
All right, Paulo, see you on the other side. Jimbo, let's get out of here. Let's get some music going. That was Paulo Diaz, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, some good insights. He says you carry your height well, James. You don't seem imposing, and he's not afraid of you.
I ain't no... I can't say
Behemoth.
that. Yeah, I ain't no behemoth.
Yeah.
That's
no,
what I
you're
wanted
not.
to say.
You're not a gentle giant, is James. Very good man. Very, very good man. That was Paulo Diaz. Always brings the noise, that guy, hey?
What a boy. What a one.
So funny. So funny. It'll be great to have him back in studio with us very, very soon. Jimbo, good stuff for this Tuesday. Great work on your part.
Good to be here.
Good to be here with you.
It's cold in here.
It's getting hot in here.
I'm uninvesting. Nope.
Nelly.
Nope. Turning my mic off.
My name is MKT. This has been the MKT Show. Remember, you can get the podcast on cliffcentral.com, the Cliff Central app, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. The MKT Show, you can search that. If you're using Apple Podcasts, please make sure to give us a 5-star rating and please share, subscribe, do all of those fine things. If you're still on YouTube, please click like on the video before you go. And other than that, have the best afternoon of your life if you're in the Republic of South Africa. If you're just getting up wherever you are in the world, have a fantastic day. My name is MKT. This is the MKT Show. And for now, we are the hell out of here.